Facebook? What's up, YouTube? I appreciate you guys so much for being here. I got some charts. I'll walk you through them. I know they're backwards on Facebook, but it's just, you don't need to see it exactly. I'll show you, and then you can look it up for yourself. But I have here Florida, and I have here Vermont, two states that have different politics, different vaccination rates, etc. And I just want to talk about some of the trends going on. Once again, this is the data. I don't make this stuff up. This is like John Hopkins, New York Times, basic level stuff. I just want to talk about the trend of cases in states that are heavily vaccinated, like Vermont, countries that are heavily vaccinated, like Singapore, one of the most vaccinated countries on the planet with over 80% vaccination rate, last time I checked. And they're going in the wrong direction. So I'm just, interested in looking at that versus a country like Sweden that has a lot more freedom, and they're not doing like a full-blown mask policy, etc. We're going to look at that. And the second thing I want to talk about is I want to give some praise and compliments. I know sometimes people watch my channel, they say, you complain so much, who do you like? And I wouldn't say I really complain. I kind of analyze, and I'm just honest. I'm not like a full-blown sports fanatic over these people, but I do want to give some props to Ron DeSantis, because I think his cop policy is genius. And I've been saying for a while, I don't understand why cops want to serve in these liberal cities where the politicians and people hate them. So what DeSantis is doing is he's offering a $5,000 bonus to out-of-state police to relocate in Florida, whether it be for vaccine mandate reasons, whether it be for just, defunding reasons. He's offering money like, hey, we like you in Florida. If you want to come down here, we'll give you a bonus. So I think that's awesome. I think that's the way to go. And I think people need to start not just voting, but kind of with their, spending patterns and living patterns. It's like, if they don't want you in the city, like, just leave. So I thought that was pretty awesome. So we'll talk about that. And that's how I felt about Los Angeles. Like, yeah, clearly they don't want to run a city properly. It's getting dirtier. They have no plans of cleaning it up. Like, deuces, I'm out. Nice. It was nice knowing you. So I like that policy from DeSantis, pretty legendary. And we'll get into the charts. Thank you guys for being here, Facebook and YouTube. Before I start, I want to say, anybody that bought the pre-sale, any of the God is Great shirts, long sleeves, the God is Great sweatshirts, and then also the Stay Blessed long sleeves, those are all in. So they should be shipping out within the next day or two. Thank you guys so much for your patience. And everybody who ordered the pre-sale, because it took so long, we're adding in a free pack of stickers on every order. And the Dream Rare hoodies, they're getting embroidered. It's going to be even more expensive and nice. So those are coming, and those are not in yet, but they're on the way. But thank you guys for waiting. We're going to give everybody a free pack of stickers, and it'll be here. I mean, it should get there way before Thanksgiving, way before Christmas. So the pre-sale, thank you guys for that. I just want to let you guys know, because I don't have that much time to announce it. But all right, so we're going to look at some charts, right? Real quick. I know it's going to be backwards on Facebook. I apologize, but just stick with me. So this was like before, and this is now, okay? You can see how it's trending in the wrong direction. That's right now. That was before. Whoa, record high cases in Vermont right here. And then even though they have one of the, if not the highest vaccination rate in the country, they're having record high cases. And I want to let people know, because some people are like, well, what about the deaths? If you look at the deaths from like August to October last year, they had 0 deaths for like 2 months. So even the deaths are trending in the wrong direction, but whatever. And this is Florida. That's right now. So they're trending in the right direction for now. I mean, a lot of this stuff, they're not going to say it. It's going to be seasonal probably. Like, they're acting as if seasons don't exist. They're like, oh my gosh, it's wave. It's like, bro, we had 90 waves in the last 90 years with the flu. I'm not saying it's the flu. I'm just saying, like, could there possibly be seasonal COVID, or is that a conspiracy theory? It's like, the flu is not seasonal. Take your booster shot. It's like, it never went away, but whatever. All right, so that's Florida trending in the right direction. So cases, they're always like, cases, get your test, get your cases. I just want to let you know, in Vermont, there's on November 13th, there were 460 new cases. And in Florida, on November 13th, there were 1,412. So there were roughly, and I say roughly because it's not exact, but 3 times as many cases in Florida than Vermont. The weird part is Florida has a population of 21.5 million, and Vermont has a population of 600,000. So 3 times more cases in Florida. I can't really do the math. What is that? Almost 40 times as many people living in Florida than Vermont. So I'm just trying to ask some people, because I know I'm getting screamed at by Pete Davidson, and comedians around the planet have been like, mobilized to scream at me and tell me what a great person they are. I'm just curious, why does a state that is more vaccinated, has heavier restrictions, and is one of the most vaccinated states in the population, why do they have only 3 times less cases when Florida's population is almost 40 times as much as them? What's going on there, and why is it trending in the wrong direction? I'm just curious because I know they're not going to admit it, and they're probably going to keep censoring, etc. But when this rolled out, and they're not going to say this, but we all know this. People like Rochelle Walensky and a lot of people in the media, although they'll claim that they didn't, we have the videos. They kind of sold this as a cure. They kind of sold this as a go get this and you're going to get to take your mask off. Go get this and you're not going to be able to transmit and spread it. Like I said, I have a video of her saying that. So she could say she didn't say it, but she did. And a lot of people were under that impression. Well, I'm going to get this. It's going to be the cure. And then I'm going to go back to normal. Now you get it. States that are highly vaccinated, over 70 something percent, they're trending in the wrong direction. And now their citizens in many places and their workers are being told to put the mask back on. So very quickly, the narrative went for go get your cure and you could take your mask off to go get your biannually or annually booster shots for the rest of your life. And at this rate, you're never going to be able to take your mask back on. Because if you notice, it's been over almost 2 years now. I would say 1.6 years since 15 days to slow the spread. And in January of 2022, they're starting to implement new restrictions, new testing policies. In Austria, they're doing a lockdown among the vaccinated only, unvaccinated only. So I would hope at this point, people realize that this is like more like the Patriot Act and more like, income tax, where I think originally they're like, yo, we're going to do this. And then it never goes away. You get on, think of it like that. And that'll be easier to navigate through this. Because if you think of it like, most people in America are very kind-hearted people, right? They're like, oh, this is just going to go away. Oh, they're going to let us go back to normal. They didn't do that with the Patriot Act. They didn't do that with income tax. And pretty much any time in U.S. history when something was taken away or taxes were raised, it's very rarely went in the opposite direction. So now that it's been almost 2 years of this and you're seeing signs that vaccinated states like Vermont are trending in the wrong direction, think about this in a way that it's not going to end like you think it is. And I just want to read real quick just to be fair and somewhat balanced. ABC News. I'm not reading this to be like a shill or anything. I'm curious what the media is saying, right? Like, why do they think that Vermont has the highest vaccination rate but is trending in the wrong direction? I'll read it aloud for you guys. This is November 12th. Vermont's highest vaccination rate in the country. So why are cases surging, says ABC News. I'm curious, why do they think it's surging? This is ABC News. Vermont is one of the most vaccinated states in the country and has served as a model for its COVID-19 response throughout the pandemic. But now the state is experiencing its worst COVID-19 surge yet, with several factors. Hold on one second. There's like an ad running on the page. With several factors, including its own success, to blame, officials said. In Vermont, nearly 72% of its residents are fully vaccinated against COVID-19, more than any other state, according to CDC and prevention data. At the same time, it has the 12th highest rate of new COVID cases over the last week. Vermont has seen a significant increase in COVID cases the past week, says Mike the commissioner, State Department of Financial Regulation. The 7-day average rose 42% as of Tuesday. Vermont does more testing than nearly every other state, though testing only increased 9% in the same period. The statewide positivity rate also increased 30%. So it isn't related to testing. The more you test, the more you find, but the testing's up 9% and the positivity rate is up 30%. I'm trying to see what they're saying, and this article's boring because the media is boring. But anyway, they're saying it's like somewhat the Delta variant. It's like, okay, but what other part is it? It's like, I always just try to figure out, I'm like, I wonder, because obviously I know what I think, but I'm not a liar. So I'm like, I wonder why people still believe these people. Like, what excuse are they giving it? Like, we told you to get in line and we told you that it was going to help you. Then we told you to take your mask off. And now we told you to put your mask back on. And in states where we run the show, your mask is back on. And now the cases are spiking and even the deaths are going up. I read these articles to be like, what in the world are people thinking that still believe these people? Like, what are they telling them? And it's like running them in circles. Like, yeah, well, the case rate is 30%, but the testing is 9%. And I mean, it's not trending in the right direction. And I mean, we're the model. We're like the model of the country. I mean, we do as best as we can to really, you're not the model. If your cases are surging and you got 3 times less cases than Florida when they have 40 times more people. So whatever you want to tell yourself to sleep at night, that's fine. But I'll be continuously reading and trying to figure out what you tell people for the next 20 years on why the cases are, not going where they said they were. All right, let's look at two more graphs real quick. These are two countries with very different rates of vaccination, but more importantly, I would say than vaccination rates would be how they, went about the virus. So here's Singapore real quick. Sorry, I'll show you guys on. This is Singapore, right? They were trying to have like a no COVID, and they got around here, they got like 80% of their population vaccinated. If you go and check out Singapore, they are literally one of the most vaccinated places in the entire world as far as countries. And that's them right now in cases. So they have more cases than they've ever had, despite having, I believe, over 84% of the population vaccinated. I'm not sure what it's at now, but that's the last time I checked. And here's Sweden, okay? Sweden, who didn't do a mask mandate. They're not doing Orwellian lockdowns like the rest of the world. That's them right now. So it's like, you guys are doing all this lockdown stuff, all this, here's Germany. Germany had very heavy restrictions, Woo, there's Germany. Whoa, we're going higher than ever. Yay, vaccines and restrictions. Here's New Zealand. They said, hey, we got to lock down, darn it, because of the COVID. We want zero COVID, and they locked down, and here's woo. So it's like, this seems to be sort of a trend. I'm not going to say it's for every vaccinated and unvaccinated country, but it's like all these countries, not all of them, but most, where they're like, yeah, we're going to lock down. We're going to lock you in your houses and the virus is going to disappear. It's like, we tried that last March. You fooled everybody into lockdowns. People are still doing this. It's like, that's so 2020. I feel like a hipster. It's like somebody's still listening to the Backstreet Boys. You're like, oh yeah, I used to listen to them when I was in third grade. You're still listening to the Backstreet Boys? But then it comes on and you're like, you are my fire. And you're like, oh, you know what? You're right. That song does slap. I'll still listen to that. I'll sing that aloud when I'm at the club or whatever. But, it's like, it's so 2020. You guys are still locking down. And now it's like the cases are surging and they're like, folks, human slavery will get rid of the virus as long as Amazon and Apple are making money and the billionaires and, your inflation's good. Read the Intercept article. Inflation's good. It's bad for the elites, but good for you. And people are like, no, that makes sense. Human slavery will probably get rid of the virus. If you treat me like an animal, a peasant, and a serf, I'm sure coronavirus will just disappear. And that's like 84% people vaccinated in Singapore. And they're like, yeah, we're almost there. I mean, we're going in the wrong direction, but any day now, it's like, cool story. Maybe they should get an island somewhere. I think they already have one that they have 100% vaccination, but they should get another one and get everybody vaccinated, right? Let's do an experiment. Let's send this sounds like a great reality show. I wish I had more power and money so I could actually pull this stuff off, because then I'd be like Mark Burnett. I'd be making billions or whatever. But here's a reality show. Take 20 million liberals or Republicans who are obsessed with, I don't even care really, who love all these restrictions and they love getting their booster shot. Put 20 million of them on an island somewhere and get 100% vaccination rate, 100% booster rate. Everybody wears a mask. Everybody watches CNN. Everybody has a Dr. Fauci doll at night that they pray to. And then let's do a scientific experiment and see if COVID goes away. And if it doesn't go away, we could be, oh my gosh, 100% vaccination rate, 100% mask rate, and it still doesn't go away. Maybe that's because two things that we already know. And I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this. These two scientific facts that we do know now. I'm a little nervous to say this on my live stream because I just got my live streams back. Here's one of them. Despite what you think about masks, they don't block air, and it's not an 100% successful way to eliminate or stop a virus. Oops. I might have COVID on my hand. I probably shouldn't even do that. Make sure I wash my hands. But so your mask doesn't completely eliminate this virus, and the vaccine doesn't stop you from getting or spreading it. So scientifically, wearing 100% masks and getting 100% vaccination rate isn't going to eliminate the virus, according to all science on the planet. But if people don't get that yet and they don't understand what's going on, it's like this cycle of like, oh my God, cases are up, deaths are up. We got to lock down. We got to do this. We got to do. It's like, why would it ever end when they're telling you that the product that they sold to you at a certain point as a cure, they're now selling as of, well, it probably at this point, according to our data, will, give you some protection against hospitalization, but you could still get it or spread it. And there are, of course, thousands of people getting wildly sick with the vaccine as well. and then there's people getting sick without it. And in certain states, it is true that people who are unvaccinated have higher hospitalization rates on average. I'm reading the data, but I'm just saying it's like it's not like the be all end all. So this is like never going to end. So before we move on, I just want to let people know everybody and I know I don't want to just blame liberals for this, because there's a lot of Republicans buying into this, and there's a lot of people that I've noticed that they're like, anomaly, how are we going to get our freedom back if we don't give it away? And I'm like, what? They're like, anomaly, if Trump didn't give it all away, how are we going to please the media? And I'm like, I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, what? It's like the more you do, the more they take. The more you play into it, the more they're like, oh yeah, this works. So it's not like you do what they say and they give you your freedom back. It's like you do what they say, and then they're like, oh, these people are listening. I guess, this is how we rule the people now. So that's kind of the misconstruing sort of thing for different reasons, that people are like, oh yeah, if I get tested weekly for a couple months, they'll stop doing it to me eventually. And it's like, will they though? I mean, maybe, but ask your boss. Once again, I don't want to harp on this, but ask your boss. If your boss is making you do weekly testing, if your boss is making you wear a mask, if your boss is making you get vaccinated, ask them questions. That's all I ask. I'm not telling you what to do. Ask them a question. Do we have to get booster shots for the rest of our life? See what he says. When is the date that I could take my mask off? They don't know. What's the metric that I could take my mask off? They don't know. How many deaths? They don't know. How many cases? They don't know. Statewide, locally, nationally, they don't know. They don't know. It's not going away because they don't have any rhyme or reason to doing it right now. In the NBA, real quick, this is one of the funniest, most obviously unscientific things I've ever heard. In New York, the Knicks and the Nets, and also in Golden State, which is San Francisco, which is the Warriors, those three teams have to be fully vaccinated. But Kyrie Irving can't play in New York City, right? He plays for the Nets, the Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie Irving is not allowed to play right now because he won't get vaccinated. But an unvaccinated player from another team like the Dallas Mavericks can come to the Brooklyn Barclays Stadium and he could play in the stadium. This is literally happening in the NBA right now. You only have to get vaccinated if you play for the Knicks, the Nets, or the Warriors. But you could come to the Warriors Stadium and play Steph Curry. You could come to the Knicks or the Nets Stadium and be unvaccinated, and that's totally fine. They allow away players to play unvaccinated, but home players have to be vaccinated. Is anybody dumb enough to believe this stuff? And people are so mad at Kyrie Irving. It's like, if you're stupid enough to go along with this, you're stupid enough to do anything. Like, they're not going to stop doing stuff to you. And if you want to be honest, I don't really feel bad for people. Like, yeah, I feel bad for myself and people who watch my channel and smart people. But for these idiots that go along with this and they're like, how dare Kyrie? It's like, you're so dumb that you think it's fine for like a team of 50% unvaccinated people to play in the same stadium. But because Kyrie Irving has a black jersey on and they have a blue jersey on, that it's going to make some sort of scientific difference. It's like, if you're that dumb, you deserve kind of what's going on. And I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like, what do you expect? I don't know. I hate to be on a high horse because I didn't do this. These are my grandparents, and I'm pretty lazy compared to them, but they came to this country with no money, didn't speak the language, started a trash business, collecting other people's trash. They told me stories of making their underwear out of potato sacks. Like, that's the type of stuff that my grandparents went through, and I'm sure a lot of your grandparents went through. Now, all they're asking you to do is like use your brain and like stop getting tested to fly to Hawaii or go to Coachella, or, make a semi-difficult stand as like a man or a woman and be like, hey, listen, I'm not anti this thing, but like, this doesn't make any sense. That's all you have to do. So if a majority of people can't do that, you're going to end up like, millions of unfortunate citizens have in the last 300 years to corrupt governments. Because why wouldn't you? You're kind of like asking for it, It's like getting spanked and being like, thank you, daddy, can I have another? It's like, well, I guess after like 50 spanks, there's some people, they're like, ugh, this is what I want for the rest of my life. And you're like, probably the elites are getting bored of doing this. They're like, are you serious? They're like, yeah, I actually prefer, like you're doing their job for them. Huffington Post, I write for a blog. Here's why I feel better in my mask. Here's why I like breathing in my mask better. It feels better than fresh air. I'd rather be in a San Francisco $4,000 apartment with rats in it,
I'd rather be there than on a mountain breathing fresh air. Here's why this feels better than watching Rudolph with.
It's like the elites are like, they're probably like, holy crap. Like, I didn't realize, like, they're like, why are these people doing this for free? We're not even like paying them. Like, they're probably shocked at how stupid people are. So, if we want to get better results, we got to be smarter as like a society. With that being said, one person that is impressing me in the Republican Party to a certain extent is Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida. Not only is he crushing Vermont, vaccination haven, but he's paying police officers from out of state $5,000, apparently, or trying to put together a plan to pay them $5,000 to relocate to Florida. They say it's about vaccine mandates. He claims it's not, but I'm guessing the gist of it is if they're trying to force vaccinate you in New York City, or they're trying to hate you and defund you and treat you like a dirt, in these cities, why don't you come to Florida? I'll give you $5,000 and people will actually like you and respect you here. I love that. I think that's a great policy. And I hate to ruffle some feathers, but you know me, I love to ruffle some feathers. This is like what the Republican Party needs, not Donald Trump. Like, Donald Trump talked a lot and then like hid in his basement when the Black Lives Matter riots came through. And like, he said a lot of stuff, but ended up just going on like a world Pfizer tour. I feel like if politics were NASCAR, Trump would have a Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson sticker on us. He's been on a world tour. He's done more promoting of these products than Bill Gates have. Bill Gates is afraid because of his Epstein connections or whatever. Donald Trump's on every television stage. I did it. I saved the world. Spanish flu. A Spanish flu. He saved 100 million lives. There would be no protests if he was around, because it's like, dude, what are you talking about? There's protests in Austria. There's protests in Italy and Israel. It's not all about you, dummy. But anyway, it's like, this is real leadership, what DeSantis is doing. I'm not saying he's perfect, but it's like he's wielding his power and using it to his advantage. The Democrats get in power and they do crazy crap. Republicans get in power and they turn into Democrats. And then the Republican base says, they had to do that. Could you imagine what they would have said about him? It's like, who cares what they would have said about him? They called him a Nazi before he even entered office. They called him Hitler 1,000 times and David Duke 1,000,000 times. Like, you think they could possibly be meaner to Donald Trump? Like, he has to do what they say or else they're already hella mean to everybody. Just do the right thing. That's what Ron DeSantis is doing. He's not perfect, but he's like using his power to actually do something that benefits the people who live there and not just himself and his media image. It's hilarious. I have a funny little thing. Maybe people are going to get mad, but I don't care because I think it's hilarious. I wrote like a little joke like story. You know what I'm saying? And I'll read it like I'm a storyteller. This is the Republican Party at this rate in 2030, unless we get like somebody like DeSantis or Rand Paul in there. The year is 2030. Republicans have been relegated to gulag tents across the country for those who reject their monthly boosters and have unfavorable ideas. The Republican Party is fighting back, though, by holding monthly LGBT summits, sending their food scraps to Israel, and proving how not racist they are on a daily basis. Republican voters are grateful for such strong leadership. Trump's polling at 80% among conservatives, and although he himself funded the gulag camps while in power, his base is explaining how he had to do it to appease the left. Could you imagine what they would have said if he didn't do it? They screamed. The only way to get our freedom back is to give our freedom away when we're in power, said Boomer Bill, gulag resident of 10 years. We're going to beat socialism soon. I'm just not sure why our party introduced communism to America, though, whispered Linda, proud but skeptical believer in the Republican Party. So I was like, my tweet read aloud like a story. I thought it was funny. I'm sure some people don't like it, but it's like, I feel like that's what the Republican Party is. And I'm not like super politically charged in certain social issues. I mind my own business, but it's like, I'm looking for like leadership among these Republicans. And it's like, you got like Melania. She's like, I just left the log cabin LGBT party to prove how not gay, anti-gay I am. And it's like, whoa, thank you so much, Trump family. We're glad that you like the homosexuals. God bless you guys. Thank you so much. Cause that's really what our country needs right now. We need Republicans to show how much they love gay people because, we don't have bigger fish to fry. In fact, just keep going to log cabin events. And then you like, I don't know. It's like, this is like, they're like, yeah, we're the Democrats are the real racists, not us. And we're like, yeah, but like, do you have any plan to like wield your power properly? Because you were in power and you ended up just letting the country shut down, and you sold vaccines like Bill Gates. Like, yeah. So, I got to give it to DeSantis. He seems like one of the only governors, if not one of the only Republican leaders, who got a position of power and actually uses it in ways that aren't completely stupid. He's like, I have power. I'm going to do what I think's right. That's a five-dimensional chess plan. Five-dimensional chess is not like sitting, at home and watching like, con artists on YouTube tell you that there's like a mystical person who posts to 8chan to feed you special messages that it's going to lead you to Jesus. Like, sorry, that's not five-dimensional chess. That's called five-dimensional sitting on your couch and getting played. Five-dimensional chess is like getting into power and not putting Amy Coney Barrett there because she was always going to side for lockdowns and forced vaccinations. It would have been a better idea to put like a Supreme Court justice who actually believed in the Constitution instead of Amy Phony Barrett. Or, like Ron DeSantis, where he's like, police officers are not being treated properly around the country, so I'm going to incentivize them to come to Florida. He seems like he's really building in the right direction. I support him 100 times more than Trump. I support Rand Paul 100 times more than Trump. And I pray that the base, realizes that we have to go in that direction, because I don't see, I don't know if Trump's Moderna and Pfizer world tour is going to end anytime soon. He might have got like dropped on his head or something and he woke up out of a coma and then he just turned into like a pharmacy salesman. I don't know. He hasn't been the same person since like May 2020. But, let me know what you guys think. I'll hang out for 30 or 40 more minutes. And I want to keep complimenting people like DeSantis and Rand Paul and trying to make them bigger superstars, because I think, psychologically, if people start to see how popular Ron DeSantis is getting, hopefully they start doing half of what he's doing, and then they could be popular too. I don't want to clap for them when they do dumb stuff. I want to clap for them when they do good stuff. And hopefully, it becomes a sort of thing where everybody starts doing more, because we're not getting out of this like restriction hellhole until enough Republicans in power actually do something with their power. Let me know what you guys think. Someone said, I like DeSantis, but it seems too good to be true. Well, just don't. This is my personal advice. I'm not trying to be a preacher, but like, don't idolize a politician. Understand Ron DeSantis is a politician. Donald Trump wasn't a politician, but I mean, he pretty much was when he got into office. And, just appreciate what they do, clap when they do good things, and don't be afraid to say no. I think that's the most important thing for the Republican Party. Don't be afraid to say no. It doesn't mean you hate Donald Trump. Doesn't mean you hate Ron DeSantis, or like just tell them no when they're doing something weird. Because the problem seems to be the left hated Donald Trump. So everything Donald Trump did, they just lied about everything. And it turned like millions of people into full-blown Trump supporters, because Trump was mostly doing the right thing and they were mostly doing the wrong thing. So it was a no-brainer to common sense people. So everybody liked Trump. And then Trump started doing whack stuff, and he's been whack for a year, but nobody wants to say it because people are stuck in Trump defend mode, or they just like idolize the guy. So now there's this weird thing that we're stuck in where like liberals make no sense at all ever, and they're like full-blown authoritarian communists. And then the right wing, it's just like, I don't know, it's like a Trump apology tour. So there's got to be some sort of medium where you don't compromise your values. You don't have to hate somebody. You could vote for them, but don't just sit there and like, act like what they're doing is great. Because at a certain point, there's certain things that are hanging over both parties, and lobbyists exist in the right wing and the left wing. Pharmacy lobbyists, big billionaire donors. Don't let Trump trick you into thinking that they only exist on the left. They absolutely exist on the right as well. There's major donors like George Soros style that are funding Republicans. I could point it out. I could show you literally like the receipts. Like, I'm not like a sneaky thing that I got. It's public information. People just don't want to hear it because it's like team red or team blue. So I would say I'm team red, but I'm not like a full-blown like sports fan about it, because I realized that 4 years of the last team red guy led us into medical tyranny. And I think he's doing a piss poor job this year. And like every time he talks, I'm like, this guy is such an idiot. Someone said, I like Jim Jordan too. He's definitely a standout. He's definitely got some good speeches and stuff. Just keep your composure and don't be afraid to, say something when you disagree. I think that's really it. Someone said, coming from Florida, he's awesome. Thank you. Someone said Donald Trump's a businessman. He ran the country like a business. No, he for sure did. Yeah, he ran the country like a business. And in 2019, he struck a deal with Bill Gates and Big Pharma, and he passed an executive order. And in 2020, he struck more deals with Big Pharma. So he ran the country like a business. But what people don't understand is Donald Trump could have chose we the people, the Constitution, but instead he sided with Bill Gates, Fauci, and Big Pharma. So he did run it like a business, but you're not his like top priority, but you haven't figured that out yet. So yeah, he ran it like a business. He just chose a different industry over you. You didn't give him millions of dollars. Big Pharma did. You didn't pay for his inauguration. Pfizer did. So he has a little more loyalty to Bill Gates and Big Pharma and Pfizer and Moderna and Johnson Johnson than he does his own support base or the truth or, you know, being honest and really taking a firm stance against medical tyranny. He doesn't care about you. So yeah, his business is like AT&T now. There is no customer service, you know. Hey, my cell phone sucks. Oh yeah, you can go on 5-hour wait. That's a business too, you know. Hey, Sprint, my phone, you charge me too much. They're like, okay, do you want to wait on the phone for 4 hours and then talk to a robot? Like, yeah, that's a business too, but it doesn't mean it's right. Would I vote for Ted Cruz? I mean, I have to see who runs. Like I said, my number one person, if everybody in the world ran, I would vote for Rand Paul before I voted for anyone. I would vote for Rand Paul before I voted for DeSantis, but I would vote for DeSantis before I voted for Trump. At this moment in time, I would vote for Ted Cruz over Donald Trump. I don't even like Ted Cruz that much. I don't fully trust Ted Cruz, but if I may, I'll tell you why I think that Ted Cruz would work better than Trump in 2024. People don't have this cult-like allegiance to Ted Cruz. So if Ted Cruz starts doing some non-conservative, non-American stuff, everybody's going to call him out. If Ted Cruz were president in 2024, everybody would be on his ASS. If Donald Trump's president, it's like a free pass. Nobody talks to the guy. They act like he's the Messiah return. They ignore all of the BS he does. I'd much rather Ted Cruz at this point for the sole reason of I think everybody in the MAGA movement would be paying attention like a hawk to Ted Cruz. And I think everybody in the MAGA movement, not everybody, but a large portion would just ignore and fall into the circus again and act like nothing bad's happening. Someone said if emergency status is revoked by the HHS Secretary Xavier Becerra, the emergency use authorization is revoked and their emergency power is gone. Well, yeah, that's true. A lot. I mean, besides the one that's approved, the emergency use authorization is a huge part of what they're doing. That's why the emergency. People don't know this. I'll let you know. I did more research on it. So when Reagan was in power, he passed the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act. And this was one of the first things of its kind. Before the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act that Reagan passed, Big Pharma was held liable for side effects, injuries, and deaths. And their products were not doing well because people were suing them that got injured from the vaccines. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is not anti-vaxxer. This is American history that you can learn. So when Reagan passed the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act, now Big Pharma and vaccines became a way bigger cash cow because now they have no liability for injuries, deaths, or side effects. So now the vaccine schedule, if you look from that point in the last 20 years, it increased tenfold and it's a lot more of a profitable business. And then this is the kicker that I didn't even fully understand, but now I do because I read up on it last week. The PrEP Act was passed by George W. Bush. It's called the PREP Act. I forget what it stands for, prepared, readiness, something. And under the PrEP Act of George W. Bush, vaccine manufacturers have no liability, once again, for injuries, side effects, or deaths if a vaccine is rolled out under a public emergency, like COVID. So under the COVID vaccine, it's protected under the PrEP Act, and Moderna, Pfizer, and Johnson & Johnson, they have no liability for side effects, injuries, or deaths because technically this goes under the PrEP Act because it's a public emergency vaccine. So this is, something that people should know. It's just a historical truth. So, now we have this predicament where we have both parties aggressively pushing the product. Donald Trump is pushing it pretty hard, not as hard as Democrats. He's not mandating it, but he absolutely is promoting it and recommending it. So you have a two-party system pushing this product. You have the Democrats who are, controlling a lot of mass media and a lot of the social media sphere, where you're not allowed to talk about injuries and you're not allowed to question their product. You have to act like it's the greatest thing ever created in medical modern history, or else you're at risk of being censored and kicked out of the public sphere. And meanwhile, they know about side effects because they have the PrEP Act and the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act to protect their companies from liability. So you don't think that they know that? Of course they do. So Trump knows it. He doesn't talk about it because he works for Big Pharma. Biden's not going to talk about it. He got $8 million from Big Pharma. He's a total puppet. So this is what you have. And this is why the Republicans always lose. You have both parties working for, this corporation, both parties paving the road to hell. You have the Democrats going full-blown authoritarian. And what do the Republicans do? Nothing. They just go down that path slower. Like that's what Trump did. He walked down that path just slower. Well, he didn't mandate. You get what I'm saying? That's just the truth. So I think people always tell me that Michael Malice said this, and I haven't heard him say this, but everybody says it, so I'm guessing it's true. That Michael Malice says like progressive or conservatism is just progressivism with a speed limit. It's like, well, the Democrats are going 120 miles an hour towards that direction, but the Republicans are only going 40 miles an hour. And it's like, for sure, that's why I vote Republican. I voted for Trump. I vote Republican locally, and I'm not going to change, but I'm not delusional thinking that they're saving me. Like they're going in the same direction. And then everyone makes excuses for it, so they have no incentive to go the other direction. The only way to get your freedom back is to go that way. You're like defending a go-kart that's going in the same direction as the Democrats, just slower. Someone said Trump does not work for Big Pharma. Of course he does. He doesn't work for you. He doesn't work. He works for Big Pharma. Why else would he go on 20 different shows and say, Pfizer, it's so good, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson? Before he got into office, he was outspoken about injuries. Did you know that? Did you know that Donald Trump used to use his platform to speak out against injuries of those products? But when he got elected in 2016, Google it, Pfizer gave $1 million to Donald Trump's inauguration. Google Pfizer Trump inauguration. Pfizer gave him $1 million for his inauguration. Okay, so who does he hire as the Human Health Services, HHS? That's a huge position. Did he put Rand Paul there? Did he put, America First guy there? No, he put Alex Azar, who is a pharmacy lobbyist who worked for Eli Lilly. So Donald Trump empowered a pharmacy lobbyist. He signed an executive order in 2019, merging like 8 branches of the government to put together a task force, which eventually would turn into the coronavirus task force of 2020. And in 2020, he got over $2 million from Big Pharma. So if I get paid to sell a product, I sell a product. Your boy sold you out. You just don't want to admit it. So I know this is near and dear to your heart. That's why I don't want him to win in 2024. Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, DeSantis, everybody would be on their ass. But Donald Trump, he didn't sell me out. He's just on television selling he just wants to sell it all the time. That's just what he wants to do in his free time, is go on Fox News and sell Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. I'm sorry. At this point in time, if I'm on Fox News for 5 minutes, I'm talking about the mandates. I'm taking a firm stance for the kids being forced masks. I'm talking about the data out of Sweden and everywhere. I'm not going to sit up there and sell the product. He's a vaccine salesman. He's a big pharma vaccine salesman. You think he's not working for them? He promotes them more than Bill Gates does. I saved the whole world. Dude, imagine if you saw like a coffee commercial and they're like, I saved everyone. I saved the planet with my product. He's a greasy used car salesman for Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson. You guys don't want to admit it though, which is why I'm not trying to be rude, but I don't feel bad for this country because you get what you deserve. If you want to work hard and really practice every day, like I've watched certain athletes that are not super, super athletic, and they became professional basketball players. And they asked him, how, you're a small white guy. How'd you become a professional basketball player? He said, I practice every single day. Every single day I practiced in my barn 6 hours a day. And that's how I got to the NBA. I put in the work. So God blesses people in this world. If you put in the work, you could become anything. You could become successful. You could become a businessman. If you want to put in the work, you will get the results. That's how amazing God is. That's why I love God. I say, God is great. Thank you so much. He forgives me. He's given me the tools to succeed. and I try to work my best. I fall short every day. I sin. I have flaws, but I work my ass off, and that's how I got here. It's the same thing with this country. If people want to put in the mental work to figure out what's going on and put a stop to it, we could be a prosperous country tomorrow. But you got half the country voting Democrat, and they don't know what the hell's going on. You got Black Lives Matter voting for the party that's trying to force vaccinate them and kick them out of restaurants, so they don't know what's going on. And you got around half of the Republican Party that wants to vote for a sleazy big pharma salesman who sold them out, set them up at the Capitol, and pardoned a bunch of, fools and left you guys to hang, and goes on television and say, so I don't feel bad for you. You're not putting in the work. You don't want to admit the truth. You want to lie to yourself. So you get the results. You get Biden. You get what's going on in this country. And this might be hard for people to hear, but I think it's important. Anytime I comment this stuff on Republican pages on Instagram, first of all, I'm the top comment. So when I say that people don't get it, most people do get it. Most people agree with me. Most Republicans know exactly what's going on. So I'm not trying to knock people. I'm tough on myself. I'm tough on everybody else. I figure you guys are tough. You're not Democrats, so you get it. Maybe you are a Democrat, but you're super tough if you're here listening to me talk like this. But in general, I go on these pages and I say this. And one of the things I always hear, well, Namali, what about the election? And I just start hearing all this victim mentality, and I'm just honest. Hear me out. You might not want to hear this, but it might be what you need to hear. I hear all these people playing the victim. Well, we got cheated. We got cheated. What do you say about that? And I'm like, you guys on your platforms on Fox News, and I'm not knocking this because I think it's good advice, but you tell Black Americans, don't play the victim. Pull yourself up by your own bootstraps and take accountability for what you do. And I think that's great advice. I think that Democrats are saying the opposite, and they're hurting Black people. So I agree with you. But you go and tell Black people that they need to take accountability. But then when it comes to your own political party, your own election, your own, capitalism, your own party screwed you over in 2020 in every sense of the way. And you guys take no accountability at all. And you're like, I'm the victim. And it's like, how do you think mass mail-in ballots came to be? Well, there was a lockdown. Well, how did the lockdown come to be? Was it just Democrats and Republicans were fighting hard? No, almost every single Republican besides maybe Kristi Noem did it, including Donald Trump. Georgia tried to open up early, and Trump suggested that he locks down further. Trump was bashing Sweden and saying they were open too much. Trump is complicit in the, failed election of 2020 just as much as Democrats. If you want to call it a trap, he played into their trap. So the only way to fix it is to stop playing the victim. It reminds me, because I play a lot of sports, like when I lose, I lose. The ref did not beat me, okay? I'm not trying to be rude, but it's annoying when people blame the ref, because it's like, bro, we could have been up 30 points. The ref did one thing or two things. We played bad. That's what an honest player. You don't blame the ref. You blame yourself. You blame your own team, and you say, we could have played better. We should have put ourselves in a better position to win. Republicans are not doing that. They're just blaming the ref. Well, why didn't you identify it earlier? I'm not saying that things weren't fishy, but it's like you take zero accountability for everything that your party did to put you in that position. We all saw it coming. We all saw the warning signs. Some of us tried to, and then now after, you're just crying and playing the victim. I could talk about 7 things that I don't like about the election. I would say 6 out of 7 of them, Republicans and Trump played into the entire year. And the one thing I want to repeat, because I don't hear it that much, one of the most underspoken about aspects of how the 2020 election was taken from Republicans is the fact that on a normal election year, nobody, most youth and most younger people and most low, information voters, they're too busy to vote. They don't vote because they're doing stuff. Like most people who don't care about politics, youth don't vote. These people don't vote. Because of the lockdown that Republicans helped to usher in, people were all stuck at their house. All the kids were stuck at their house. There was no school. There was no concert. There was no sports. Everybody was home. And then they sent a ballot to everybody's house. And then they told everybody to vote on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, dating apps, everywhere you logged in, anywhere, all the time, they were telling you to register. So that formula put everybody in their house, make everything close down, give everybody the tools, let them drop it off and make it easy, vote for 3 weeks. That had a huge part of it. So, but the thing is, the root of it wasn't the day that it happened. The root of it was the March, April, May, June lockdown that, no offense, Donald Trump was totally fine with. He was saying open up, and then he looked at the chart behind him and he said, you know what? We need to extend the lockdown past Easter. He was in on it. I'm sorry. Look at his interview with Bill O'Reilly. He's like, Bill O'Reilly's like, why didn't you fire Fauci? And Trump's like, oh, I actually got along with him. He said, call me Tony, and I called him Tony. It's like Trump's like friends with Fauci. You think this is like this big fight going on because a bunch of like phony QAnon mom bloggers told you that it's happening or something, and she fooled a bunch of people. Now, like, sorry, like that's what's really happening in the real world. I'm not trying to be rude, but like we got to stop playing the victim. And that's how I feel. And that's how I play sports too. Like I don't blame everybody else. If I lose, I lose. I got to go harder. I got to take the root level steps to get better. It's the same way like Black Lives Matter makes the city worse because they're like, oh, the real problem in the South Side of Chicago is the cops. And you're like, no, the real problem in the South Side of Chicago is the fact that the people who live there can't stop killing each other, and they got to stop killing each other, or else that's never going to be a prosperous community. Bezos could put $1 trillion into the South Side of Chicago. It's not going to get better if the people there have such a wicked mindset and such a destructive mindset. So if you blame the cops for what's going on in the South Side of Chicago, it's never going to get better. And if you blame only the Democrats for the 2020 socialist takeover of America that Republicans ushered into, you're never going to fix it. That's how I think. I think root level. And, I don't want to harp on about it, but it's important. People are so into team red, team blue, they miss things that I say, and it sounds like a foreign language because they're not paying attention. When Tim Scott, who's a super big Republican, had a speech against, Biden had a speech, and they put, the Republican Party put Tim Scott on the television. One of the things that Tim Scott bragged about was the CARES Act. He said, Nancy Pelosi's doing these radical left bills, but when we were in power, we passed a bipartisan agreement, the CARES Act, and everyone clapped. And I'm thinking to myself, the CARES Act was one of the most socialist communist bills ever passed in modern history, or whatever the hell it was, acts, or I don't know what they would potentially call the CARES Act. That was both parties in on it. That was Donald Trump bragging about it. Tim Scott, they're bragging about socialism. They're like, what was the CARES Act? They sent $1,200 to the entire country while they were kicking people out of, their workforces. That was the most communist socialist bill I've ever seen in my life. They put the whole country on welfare. You want to talk about universal basic income being a communist agenda? Yeah, that Republicans ushered in, and the only one who had the balls to say no was Thomas Massey. And Trump said to kick him out of the party. So people are so busy fighting Let's Go Brandon that they don't even realize that their Republican idols are on one hand are tweeting, oh, we'll never be a socialist country. They're doing socialism, and they have no incentive to stop because it seems like me and like 5 influencers notice, and probably like 10% of the Republican Party even realizes it's happening. And when I say it, people think I'm speaking Chinese or something because it doesn't register with what they heard on their other channels. So that's what's going on. Like, we got to not just blame the left, vote Republican, pay attention to this stuff. Because if people don't want to hear it, I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like, I don't expect your life or your country to get better. Like, we're not going in the right direction. And the Republicans are like just slowly going that way and like bragging about it. They don't even have like a plan. Listen to Donald Trump talk. They're like, what do you think about the mandates? And he's like, the mandates? When I was president, there were no mandates. And, if I was president, there would be no protest. People are protesting because they don't like Biden. And it's like, what? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's the front runner of the Republican Party telling you that he's either such a liar or so brain dead that he thinks that he thinks that protests wouldn't be here if he were president because all his supporters would be in line to get the Trump vaccine. Like, that's what he's literally saying. And I'm the only one reporting on it. I'm not going to say the only one, but there's not many people. So it sounds like a foreign language to people. I'm just like watching this stuff and I'm like, is anybody else paying attention? I don't know. Somebody's got to be. Someone said that's not what he said. Wow. I could get the clip if you want. I got the clip of him saying that there would be no, I'll play the clip of him saying that. That's fine. Listen, I got receipts about everything. It's all public. I don't have to go that far. Hold on. Here, ready? Listen to what he said. He says, if I was president, there would be no protest because everybody would have got in line for the vaccine. Ready?
When I was president, you didn't have this problem with people not wanting to take it. When I was president, you didn't have people protesting the vaccine. If you just think back, everybody wanted to get it, and we were giving out over 1 million shots a day.
Did you hear it? when I was president, you didn't have any protests because everybody wanted to get the shot. I'm not making this shit up. Like, and I'm not like a sneaky person. Like, I don't like to go into people's personal life. I don't care. No offense, but I don't care. He said, grab them by. I'm not going through old Billy Bush tapes. I'm not out here being a sneak about it. God bless the Trump family. I love, Melania Trump, Donald Trump, Don Jr., Eric Jr., me and the boys. You know what I'm saying? I love the Trump family. I'm not making this shit up. It's like public broadcast. He says this shit every time he goes on television, and then I report it, and people think I'm talking Chinese. People think I'm talking Wuhan out here. And like I'm not even speaking English. They're like, he just said it. I just played it. He says it every time he goes on freaking television. Am I the only one who hear? Like, I'm sitting waiting. I'm not a Trump hater. He was hilarious he's still funny, but he was like the realest politician I've ever seen for so long. And now he just like isn't telling the truth or something. I don't know what the hell he's doing, but am I the only one who's freaking going to report on it? My gosh. It's hilarious though, because I know, like, let me say this too, because I don't want to like give people the wrong idea. I understand that a lot of Republicans and conservatives know what I'm talking about, but some don't. When I say this stuff on big Republican pages, I'm the top comment every time. I say, I respect DeSantis 100 times more than Trump. I got 2,000 likes on my comment. The next popular like has 100. And I'm not saying that like, oh my God, I'm so special. I'm saying that because Republicans agree with me. Even pro-Trump Republicans agree with me. Of course, there's some who don't, but I'm just saying, I'm not trying to like paint, everybody says this. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's like every liberal believes this. Yeah, not everyone, but enough where I say it and you know what I'm talking about. Someone said, you have great arms and I can't agree with you more. Well, thank you. I'm going to give people an insight. I know I'm not a holistic health coach or anything, but I'm going to give you an insight to why I look so healthy. I get sunshine. I smile. I don't put a mask over my breathing holes. It's disgusting. So I smile. I don't wear a mask. I work out and play sports. I enjoy human interaction and I talk to people. Pretty much the opposite of what the CDC says. So that's how I became so healthy. That's just a personal story. I'm not telling people what to do, but it's like, I don't wear a disgusting mask for 8 hours a day. I smile. I work out. I don't close down children's sports and I don't abuse people. So that's my recipe to success so far. And I try to eat good food, no high fructose corn syrup, just good ingredients. I want to say this too. Sometimes when you talk about eating healthy, I don't eat that healthy. But in general, people are like, oh, no, you don't want to have fun in this world. And it's like eating high fructose corn syrup is not fun. I eat chicken. I just eat better chicken. I eat everything that everyone eats. They have soda. I forget the name of the brand, but it's like all natural ingredients and it tastes just like cream soda. So it's like you could eat a hamburger, just try to get good meat because they're giving you like foreign alien ingredients that are just disgusting. It's destroying our bodies. So I don't eat amazing. I just try to eat like real food. That's what I try to do. I don't always do it, but I don't drink soda and I don't want high fructose corn syrup. I think I look for, I have hot sauce. I can't find it, but it's like, it tastes amazing. It's just not made with trash, So that's an easy way to try to eat a little better. You don't have to change anything. Just try to look at the ingredients when you go to the store and find like actual things like, apple cider vinegar as the base instead of like high fructose corn syrup. It's that easy. And it tastes just as good, if not better. Someone said they're poisoning the human race. I mean, I don't want to overstate it, but what else? Like our food's not even legal in other countries. Like you go to McDonald's in Japan or Europe, it doesn't even taste like American. I feel like the people who run America hate America. Like why would our food, we made McDonald's. We didn't do, we invented planes, peanut butter, McDonald's, but we made McDonald's. Why is McDonald's the shittiest in America when we invented it? Our politicians hate us. I'm sorry. The CDC is not an impressive community of doctors or anything. It's like, if they want to impress me, why I want McDonald's to be amazing in America. Why is it better in Europe and Japan than it is here? Like they must hate us or something. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe they're feeding us like alien ingredients because they really like us. They're just testing our intestines. Someone said Australian McDonald's. I think pretty much everywhere has better quality food than America. I say that as a proud American. Like, I know people that are like, dude, I don't even want to live in America because of the food. And I'm like, is it that bad? I've never really traveled. I'm not as cultured as I look. I've never really been to Europe. I've never been to Asia. So I have no idea. But from people I talk to, they're just like, dude, you have no idea how much better like the meat is over here. And I was like, sheesh, I don't know. I do what I can. Someone said more people dependent on the medical system. And this is my thing with the whole Operation Warp Speed thing. I'm not saying it's a mandate, but I don't like it just because it's not a mandate. Big Pharma has enough money. I'm sorry, but they don't need $11 billion from Donald Trump and taxpayer dollars. Like, they have enough money. They get that money, and that just it's like pushing them in the direction of mandates. It's like, here's some money and power, and then they get the money and power. They're like, well, technically we didn't do it. It's like, yeah, it's like, can anybody actually do something? Big Pharma has enough money and power in America. They don't need Donald Trump's money or Joe Biden's money or our money, more importantly. And if you look in 2016, there's a CNBC article that I always reference. America at the time was around 5% of the world. If you look at the world's population, they estimate that America in 2016 was 5% of the world. Can you guess how many percentages of opioids that America was taking? 5% of the world taking 80% of the world's opioids. That's America, the land of the shitty food that they won't even serve in Europe. And I'm not acting like I'm holier than thou. I eat like a degenerate. I eat hamburgers. I eat, you know what I'm saying? I'll eat a pretzel. I'm not acting like I'm just saying the quality of meat and the quality of bread in a McDonald's hamburger isn't even like legal in most parts in Europe. They won't even, it's a burger, but it's like it tastes better. It's better for you. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to act like I don't eat hamburgers. I'm just saying it's not even legal in some countries. We're 5% of the world taking 80% of the world's opioids. Does that sound healthy? Of course it's not healthy, but Big Pharma runs America. That's why they run Trump. They run Biden. The Republicans make excuses for Operation Warp Speed. I'm sorry. This is my opinion, Facebook. Operation Warp Speed sucks. I don't care that he didn't mandate it. It's like, man, give Karl Malone a 5-year contract for $50 million and throw him an alley-oop, and then he dunks in your face, and you're like, well, technically Trump didn't dunk in his face. Yeah, I know. He only signed him to the team for 10 years. Like, of course, if you give him that much money, they're gonna dunk in your freaking face. That's who they've always been. So this is what people don't get. The left goes crazy. The right goes crazy light. The right funds the left. The left dunks in your face. And Republicans just sit there and make excuses for the guy who helped them do it. But he didn't mandate it. I don't care. I've heard this story a million times, okay? And I'm not going to say I'm undefeated because I take some L's, but I'm pretty damn close. I was complaining about Amy Coney Barrett today on Twitter. I spend way too much time on these stupid platforms. But anyway, I said something about Amy Coney Barrett, and some guy says to me, he says, this is a really stupid comment because unless you can prove to me that you said this before she was confirmed into office, then your comment means nothing. And I'm like, I'm glad you asked because I actually did say this before Amy Coney Barrett was confirmed. I called it before she was confirmed. So these people are like, you didn't do it. I'm like, yes, I did. And I'm not saying I'm so special. They publish this stuff. They're like, Amy Coney Barrett supports lockdown. So I'm like, man, Trump probably shouldn't pick her. And everyone's like, shut up. She's got a notepad in her hand. She's got a dang note. And I'm like, okay. And then people are like, oh yeah, Mr. Know-it-all. I'm like, you're the same guy that was yelling at me a year ago for trying to warn you. I'm like, stop cheering for this stuff. And they're like, no, let's go, Brandon. I'm like, whatever. Okay, then enjoy whatever. And I don't dislike Let's Go, Brandon. I think it's funny. I'm just saying. Someone said you're special and you call. I'm not special though. This is what I want people to know. I could sit here and like love and pat myself on the back and be like, I'm so special. I'm not special. I'm not like, this doesn't take a million level IQ to like figure out this stuff about Amy Coney Barrett. I promise you. It was public knowledge. I'm not special. That's why I'm so annoyed. If I was super special, then I'd be like, ugh. It's right. It's out there. Robert Barnes reported on it weeks before she was confirmed. And I listened and I saw it. And then I shared the information. And people purposely didn't Look at it, You think these people don't follow me? Trump's campaign manager followed me. Multiple senators follow me. Multiple House members follow me. Multiple athletes follow me. Some of your biggest, most favorite conservative accounts, they all follow me. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying they saw the same shit. The difference is I reported on it and they covered it up, or they didn't want to touch it because it went against the agenda of Amy Coney Barrett's cool. We're winning. Durr. That's what these people want to do. It's fine. It's fun. But it's like, if you cheered and we were like, stop, maybe we should get someone else in. And now a year later, they're like, whoa, I didn't see this coming. I wonder why. I'm like, it's a big show. They know this stuff. They just don't want to report on it. There's certain accounts that all they do is promote Republican awesomery, So if it's like, hey, let's be smart about what we do so we actually get good results for the next 50 years. I mean, Supreme Court, pretty big decision that Trump blew, this might be the difference between being free and being a slave if they're going to do mandates forever. Yeah, we're just going to ignore anomaly and just, post pictures of Amy Coney Barrett with a notepad. It's like this is why maybe I am special, not because I'm super smart, because I'm just not a liar. Maybe that makes me special. That's why everybody here is so special. People are like, man, you're so woke. It's like, if you have basic common sense and you have like basic integrity and you have like the basic ability to tell the truth, you're special. Apparently you're in the minority with me. Congratulations. You're super special because you have basic common sense, basic integrity, and your whole life doesn't revolve around just worshiping red, blue, or team red or whatever. If they're team blue, if they're right, like, I guess that makes everybody so special. We're so special because we don't just sit on our knees and say, team red, oh my God, everything they do is great. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, for sure. Whatever. Someone said stop. What, you want me to stop? All right. All right. Balloon Knot 22 said stop, and his name is Balloon Knot, so he's got his stuff together. 22. All right, I'm gonna stop, guys, because Balloon Knot 22 said stop. Have a good one, folks, and I'll be back in an hour. Balloon Knot 22. Just let me know when I should come back, and I'll come back. All right. Thank you for running the show. I appreciate your perspective. You're totally right, bro. I'm gonna leave my own live stream. You mind? You mind if I come back, Balloon Knot? It's my show. You mind if I stay here, buddy? Is that thumbs up from Balloon Knot 22 or no? We good? Well, Balloon Knot, because he spelled it wrong. It's like balloon and baloney mix. But all right, I'm going to stay on my own show. Thanks for the suggestion, though. I took it to face value. Someone said you're special either way. I appreciate you guys trying to make me feel special, but I don't want to be special. Like, I don't want it to be special to not lie like about the dumbest thing. Can we make a world where that's not special? Like, if your kid walks into class now, like, this is how dumb America is. I'm sorry. Your kid walks into class and your kid's like, 1 + 1 is 2. And they're like, Billy's a really special kid. He's really smart. His IQ is 1,000,000. It's like, I learned that 5 years ago. 1 + 1 is 2. They're like, yeah, but these gender neutral kids think 1 + 1 is 4. It's like, yeah, Billy, your son's really smart now because everybody else is dumber. So that's how I feel. It's like, oh yeah, I'm so special. Thank you I appreciate you. No, seriously, thank you. I like a good compliment. Trust me. But it's like, I don't want to be special because what I'm doing is not special. I'm pretty good at basketball and soccer, and like, I could be special. Oh my God, that was a good goal. But like, this shouldn't be special. I appreciate that you think it is, but it's like, a kid that knows how to add 1 + 1 is now like in the upper echelon of like geniuses, because all these kids are so brain dead because they have shitty parents, and Big Bird is selling them pharmacy products, and Pete Davidson is just like, oh, I'm Joe Rogan, a horse dewormer. Like, oh, thanks, Pete Davidson. Dude, thank you so much, Pete Davidson. I got to just sit here and say thank you to Pete Davidson. I'm not going to lie. I was falling down the Joe Rogan echo chamber. Joe Rogan's like, look at me, I'm strong. And Pete Davidson looks like a little worm, And so I was like, dude, maybe this Joe Rogan, maybe he is a doctor, And he started telling me all these things. And I'm not going to lie, Pete Davidson, before you saved my life, I was really falling into the Joe Rogan echo chamber. And I was starting to pick up on all these far right talking points that were really ruining my life. Joe Rogan was like, you should lift weights and learn how to fight and take care of yourself and take vitamins. And I started doing it. I'm not going to lie. Like, I got stronger. My life got better, pretty much every aspect of my life got better. Cause instead of like sitting there and, fapping to like, like Huffington Post blogs. I started, like taking care of myself. And like things were going pretty good, but I didn't realize that Joe Rogan was brainwashing me into, not being such a degenerate and believing in the first two amendments and low taxes. And then I finally stumbled across Pete Davidson on SNL. And when he said horse dewormer, I was like, oh, right. I was being brainwashed by Joe Rogan. And now, let's just say Pete Davidson saved my life. Since then, I've lost 30 pounds of muscle mass. I've been smoking anything anybody hands to me, pretty much, whatever. I got 17 tattoos, 3 of them of Ariana Grande, 1 of them of Hillary Clinton. You know what I'm saying? So my life is, I appreciate Pete Davidson for saving me, because he did this like Big Bird Joe Rogan skit, and it finally cracked the program. I was like, stop exercising so much. Stop taking care of yourself. Like, get more Ariana Grande tattoos, and you know what I'm saying? Get more skinny and degenerate. And so, just watch out, folks. There's podcasts out there, telling you to take care of yourself. You gotta watch out for that and tune into SNL. Those are some really funny guys on there, like Big Bird, Ted Cruz, Joe Rogan. If you didn't see the skit, check it out. A 10 out of 10, highly recommended. Should win an Oscar or something, or Emmys, or whatever the stupid award shows are. I used to live in Hollywood. They're like, no guns. Guns are bad. Walls are bad. To build a wall is racist. And like, keep in mind, in Hollywood, like the actual Hollywood, not the hills where all the losers live, actual Hollywood, it's a majority Hispanic area. Like Hispanic families are dominant in that area. Okay, so there's a mostly Hispanic area. When they would close down Hollywood Boulevard, they would build a giant wall around it. It was the most elitist thing ever, where you couldn't even see shit. They didn't even want you to see it. Like, seriously, they had Justin Timberlake performing one time. I'm like, listen, that Justin Timberlake, he really does slap. So I wanted to see Justin Timberlake, but they had walls so big that they wouldn't even let you see it. So you hear him singing. He's like, I'm bringing sexy back. And you're like, oh my God, it's JT. It's JT. And like, we're all the broke people like myself, we're peeking in the holes. We're like, where's Justin? Where's Justin? And you can't see him because they built such a big wall and so thick. They had a live performance in the middle of Hollywood Boulevard, and everybody who lived and worked near Hollywood Boulevard wasn't allowed to see it because they built a 30-foot wall to prevent anyone from seeing it. This is how psycho elitist they are. It's like they just have like 50 security guards closing down every street. Every street's closed down. There's securities everywhere. They build this massive wall so you can't even see the event that they're doing, the Jimmy Kimmel from his Freemason temple. I'm not starting a conspiracy theory. I'm just telling you, if you Google Jimmy Kimmel, Los Angeles studio, Hollywood Boulevard, it's literally a Freemason temple. It says on the top of it, I saw this because I used to walk by there, and it says Freemason builds its temples in the hearts of men and in the lands or something. Let me actually read what it says, because I'm not, listen, God bless everybody. I don't care what religion or secret society you're a part of, but let me see. Freemason Jimmy Kimmel studio. Let's see what it says. It right on the top. Like you could, I was a peasant, so I could see this right from the street. Let me see what it says. Yeah, it's the Hollywood Masonic Temple. It says Freemasonry builds its temples among the nations and in the hearts of men. It's literally right on the middle of Hollywood Boulevard. And it's like they're not hiding it. It's just like right there. So, I get it. That's cool. Justin Timberlake private concert that we can't see. Let's just say I'm a little salty about it, okay? I'm not the biggest JT fan, but listen, NSYNC, yeah, I had it. Yeah, I had, bye. I knew how to do it. Let's just say I had the, let's just say I had a little bit of NSYNC, so I wanted to see JT, but I guess it's only for the elites. Someone said, I get it, but do you ever get tired of the rant? That's a good question, Ashley. Do I get tired of ranting? Oh, for sure. That's when I turn off the camera. I'm like, dude, I'm exhausted. Appreciate y'all. Telegram, t.me/streamer chat. And then I turn off the camera. Do I get tired of ranting? Yeah, of course. I have a real life too. I don't just sit here all the time. I do other things. Do I support gay rights in Pakistan? No. And, I support Pakistan's rights to do what they want. So a lot of Republicans, Republicans really care about you. They only printed $9 trillion in 2020 and, they go to log cabin meetings. But, um, you know, when you go to these Republican events, they make sure they let you know about the important issues like gender studies in Pakistan and sexuality in Palestine. These are really crucial issues to the American people. So, no, I think me personally, I support Pakistan's. I support their Sharia law. I'm not Muslim. I don't. Sharia law is not my thing. But I think it should be allowed in certain places in the world. I don't think everywhere in the world needs to have story time drag hour and vaccine mandates. I don't support Americanizing the whole world. I would much rather personally Pakistan have Sharia law than whatever wicked system that we have. And I'm not saying I want Sharia law here. I'm just saying, unlike Charlie Kirk and TPUSA, I do not support gay rights in Pakistan or Palestine. I support their right to run their country, and we should focus on ourselves. And if we become America the Great again, what I'm saying? We become so extra awesome, then we could go to Pakistan and Palestine and say, hey, check out our system. It's pretty good. You should try it. But we don't have that in this country. Our system is degenerate, disgusting, and very devilish in many ways. So if we can't even control our own country, our own education system, our own television, our own culture, our own media, our own music, then why the hell would I want to go to Pakistan and wish this onto them? I don't wish this on them at all. I get along with like right-wing Muslims very well. So, to each their own, but we don't everything's not a big party. Like you don't got to eat what I eat. I don't got to eat what you eat. You don't have to like my music. I don't have to like your music. I don't like this idea of like Americana globalism where it's like everyone has to be as gay as America. It's like, no, I don't think so. I think we should have diversity and in the world, diversity of opinions and cultures and systems. And then this way, we could see what works or not. But someone said the Middle East doesn't fall for it like us. Well, here's the thing about Islam and even Christianity, I think. Like one thing that I've learned is that discipline equals, reward. Of course, I believe in the freedom of speech and the freedom of choice in a lot of ways. But at the same time, freedom's not free. And, if I'm free in America to eat cheesy poofs every day, right? I could sit here and be like, I could eat whatever I want, but I would get fat as hell. The reason I'm in decent shape is because I work out a lot. I have discipline somewhat. I wouldn't say I'm perfect, but enough. So discipline is great. Christians are so hated in America because not all, but some Christians have discipline. And that's why they're so hated, because they don't want to take part in certain wicked things. In the Islamic world and Sharia law, it's extreme discipline. For many women, it's too much. For many men, it's too much. I'm not saying you have to partake in it if you don't live there, but this idea that we have to go to a country that has way more discipline when it comes to LGBT rights and make them act like us, I don't understand that, because I don't think we have that under control in our country. If it was just marriage and that's one thing and it never escalated, but it is beyond escalated. And, I'm not blaming anyone particular for that, but I don't think we're in a moral or godly position to tell Muslims they need to be less disciplined than we are on that topic. I don't think that is a smart idea. I don't think God would appreciate that. I don't think God likes right-wing groups going over there and telling them that, they need more sodomy. I don't think that's like a thing. But if we figured it out in America and everything was on the right page, then we could go over and be like, okay, and that's like myself. Like, I think I'm in good shape, but I'm not a fitness instructor. If I was a fitness instructor, I'd be in better shape. And also I'd know more, like I want to be great at whatever I do. And I'm not in that position to do that right now. So you get what I'm saying? I'm not saying this is right or this is wrong or we're horrible here. It's just like, I don't think America's in the shape to go other places and tell them to act like us, especially in that department, because I do believe a lot of these things are linked. I think there's a lot of linkage between certain ideas and certain policies. And, you see it in America. I watched Dave Chappelle's recent special and I turned it off because I thought it was trash. No offense. But, he was crying victim, and he was like, his take on the LGBT stuff was that they are a bigger victim than him. And it really bothered him because he wants to be the biggest victim. That's why I thought it was corny. I didn't feel I like Dave Chappelle. I think he's one of the greatest comedians of our time. But I thought that special and where he talked about Candace Owens, it was like this emotional political special that sucked. But anyway, it's like, I don't think his stance was like, oh, I'm a man and this is what I believe. It was like, poor me, I'm a victim and I want to be bigger victims. And like, he's so sad he can't be as victimized as LGBT. And the truth is, like, no, I don't think anybody should be victimized that much. LGBT, Black, like, everybody should come to the table, tell the truth. If you got your own problems and bigger problems, be honest about it. I'm not saying we're all exactly the same in our history, but this idea that we need somebody to be that victimized, the problem is that they're that victimized. With the LGBT, they have this like elite status right now where it's like, you can make fun of a straight person, you can make fun of a Black person, you can make fun of a Muslim person, you can make fun of anybody except for gay people. Like, they think they're above comedy. Like, what a narcissistic, no offense, douchey attitude to have. Like, I am above being joked about. It's like, oh, why? Like, that's like supremacists. I call them the LGBT supremacists. So, I don't think we have it under wraps in this country, because even, comedians are getting canceled over speaking about them. That sounds authoritarianism. So, gay marriage turned into authoritarianism very quickly. So I'm focused on this. But his special, as great as he is, I feel like he reminds me of like a CNN watching boomer. Like, instead of being like, I'm a Black man and this is what I think and this is the truth and I won't back down, he's like, I wish I could be a big victim again. I was the biggest victim for the last 10 years and now they're a bigger victim and I can't be as big of a victim as that. It's like, that's why that's why I feel like Chappelle, I feel bad for him, because he's like, I'm not going to say lost, but he feels like, let down, where it's like, bro, just go, just go through them. You don't got to be the big victim in the room. Like, just tell the truth unapologetically, and then you'll be free. The only way to be free is to do that. If you're always worried what they're saying, then you're not free. They're going to haunt you forever, and they know it bothers you, and they're going to get you. Chappelle, he should just laser through them. Be like, listen, I'm being nice. I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm not, it's not a victim versus victim. It's like, I'm a man. This is what I think. I got the First Amendment, and whatever. But he's like, his spin was like, they're racist. And you're like, oh, it's like, dude, turn off the Anderson Cooper. You'll get there. He's one of the greatest comedians of all time, but politically the LGBTs got him all messed up. I feel bad for him, but I had to turn the special off. I was like, it felt like a victim Olympics. I was like, I'd rather watch like Shane Gillis or somebody funnier and like less apologetic, but to each their own. Someone said, then you'll be super surprised to learn he closed the show with my issues with white people, not gays. Yeah, I heard he said that. I didn't watch it all the way through, but I could tell he was on the wrong path. So he's, he'll figure it out. It's all good. I don't really care. I don't envy somebody that is that lost and that has that much hate in their heart and has that much victim in their heart. So I feel like he's his own worst enemy right now. He'll figure it out. Someone said, Troy said, so Namli, what do you think about the Republican winning ticket in 2024, president and vice? Do you think Republicans have a chance of keeping the Senate and the House as well? Good question. I'm not good at this type of stuff, but I do look at the betting odds, and I'll tell you that in the betting odds, Trump is a 2-1 favorite over Biden. The Senate is, I believe, a 2-1 favorite to win Republicans, and the House is a 3-1 favor to win Republicans. So right now in the betting odds, and I say that because the betting odds usually have a scope of what's really going on. I would say the betting odds are more accurate than the polls because, I don't trust the polls, but the betting odds seem to know what time it is. Republicans are favorites to win everything. I think Trump could probably win again. I'm not saying he can't. I just don't think he's going to do what people think he's going to do. So Me personally, I would love to see Rand Paul or Ron DeSantis. Either one of those, I feel like would be a massive upgrade from Donald Trump, but it's not up to me. If Trump wins again, most people will vote for him again. But he'll also, it'll be this whole another circus. It's like it's going to be a I love Trump versus I hate Trump. And to me, I'm over that. I would support Trump if he supported the truth and, told the truth, but he's become a big pharma shill and he seems so selfish and so self-centered. It's always about him. He's done virtually nothing to really take a stand with the people in the last 2 years. And Ron DeSantis has done almost everything he can to take a stand. So, I would like Rand Paul as my number one. I like Thomas Massey, but I don't think he's going to run. But in general, yeah, DeSantis, I think could win. I think any Republican could win pretty much. It's just a matter of who wins the primaries. I don't know. We'll see what people think. This is my guess. I don't know this for sure. Most working people still love Trump. Like if you go online, I would say a lot of people are over it. A lot of Trump supporters are ready for Ron DeSantis. But when you get to the real blue collar people that aren't logging into Instagram and Twitter all the time and Facebook, most of these people still like Trump. They still appreciate what he did. They don't, pay attention to every little political thing and, just like the kind of broad stuff. So I would say regardless of what I think or what other people think, Trump is the massive, massive favorite to win in 2024. I don't want it, but I'm aware that it's not up to me. Someone said General Flynn. Medical tyranny is my number one issue. The reason I like Rand Paul is because Rand Paul gets the medical tyranny stuff. He knows how to combat it. He knows how to call out Fauci. Also, the tax thing. To me, the tax thing is like a root level issue. So Rand Paul seems to understand that taxation is theft. And I say that without being too long-winded. The whole system's screwed up. Imagine a 7-Eleven that didn't have to sell anything and they didn't have to please you. Like if you go into a 7-Eleven, it's based off of sales. How much money are we making? How much are we paying people? It's all sales based. They grow and build when they do better, service. Imagine a 7-Eleven that got $5 trillion in a year, even though they just beat the shit out of their own, customers. Like that's the government. I'm not saying literally, but like they get paid every year because they steal your money and you get arrested if you don't pay taxes. So the whole system is corrupt at the core. And the way to get rich in politics is to take lobbying money, and even if you're Donald Trump, you're still getting a huge amount of money from big donors. Like Sheldon Adelson, et cetera. He's not alive anymore, but when he was, he's doling out hundreds of millions of dollars to the Republican Party. And then you have people on the left giving hundreds of millions of dollars to Democrats. So the whole system's rotten to the core. Rand Paul understands that. He seems like him, Thomas Massey, the libertarian people, they get that. I don't know that anybody else that even cares about that. So, at a certain point, what happened in 2020? It's not just a virus. It's like big pharma swallowed up both parties. The government swallowed up both parties, and both parties became socialist. You could think that Donald Trump fought socialism or something, but he printed $6-9 trillion. I don't even know how much, but anomaly, there was a virus. Okay, then there's going to be more because if that's what you say, they're like, oh, okay, it's that easy to fool Republicans. Or it's like, oh, well, anomaly, we had to go to Iraq because of the bin Laden. Or, oh, man, anomaly, we had to do the Patriot Act because of the terrorists. We had to. It's like that's how they operate. You can't just take somebody's guns or do that. You need a crisis. And I'm not saying that they're all, made up. I'm just saying when a crisis happens, they take advantage of it. So you get what I'm saying? Regardless of why you think it happened or how much you want to defend it, the Republican Party in 2020 went beyond socialism. So who do I want to win? Rand Paul, because he understands that and no one else does. Someone said Rand Paul just talks anomaly. If you want to think that, I'm not saying he's perfect, but I think he at this point knows how to wield power. And I'd prefer him or Ron DeSantis, but I don't know that Ron DeSantis cares about banking and the Federal Reserve and stuff. But to me, it's like I understand what I'm saying is not a popular. It's not a popular thing. It's not like everybody cares about this. Almost nobody cares about this. So, but it's like the root level issue. So I don't, that's why I'm trying to say like it's not really up to me. I focus on myself because that's what I can control. What I'm doing, how I'm, how I navigate through it, and not in a selfish way, but like I can control my own destiny, and I don't blame anybody or make excuses. But as far as America, I don't know. I don't know how much people care. Like, I vote Republican, but it seems like a lot of Republicans want the big vaccine salesman back into office, and they think that if they fight Biden, that they can get back their country or something, but they don't understand how banking works or the Federal Reserve or big pharma. So, I mean, if people don't want to figure that out, I would say we'll see what happens. I'm optimistic, I guess, but things don't happen for no reason. Things don't happen for no reason. Once enough people care about something, then there's trajectory there. But I feel like Democrats are really good at either making a narrative or owning a narrative, and very rarely can Republicans flip it. Like when the George Floyd riots happened, every Republican caved. Every Republican, was like, "Oh my God," and it's like, I get it, and it's okay to have a human moment, no question. But that was probably even bigger than COVID. Like that's when Trump's approval ratings tanked and Biden skyrocketed. Like they got hella money. Like I don't know. I feel like Republicans have a little work to do. But yeah, I like Rand Paul better than anyone for those reasons. But DeSantis would be fine too. Someone said they are liquidating our country. I hear you, John. It sure seems like that. Sure seems like that. Someone said, Anomaly, where can I find the list on who made money on pharmacy? You gave the websites. It's called opensecrets.org, but if you Google Open Secrets 2020 Big Pharma recipients, you could find the list. So Google Open Secrets Big Pharma recipients 2020, and you can see that. Someone said, I think Rand Paul is smart and would be great, but not sure if popular enough to win. I don't have a huge scope because, like everybody thinks something different, but I do think with Trump, I think that a lot of the way that they were able to win was off of his hate, So like in 2016, it didn't work, but in 2020, I do feel like even if you watch Democrat campaigns against like Youngkin or whatever, it's all about Trump. Why do the Democrats talk about Trump so much? I'm not saying it's particularly his fault. I'm just saying like Trump is all they have. Like I hate Trump. This guy likes Trump. This guy's affiliated with Trump. That's all the Democrats run because that's all their base knows. So I mean maybe, but I don't know. I feel like Rand Paul is not as popular as Trump, but I mean he is hated, I guess. But I don't know. I feel like if Trump gets back into the spotlight, Democrats are going to love that. CNN ratings are going up. MSNBC ratings are going to go up. He gives them ratings. At Fox News, they're fine. Like, I knew I would be fine after Trump, and I'm not saying he didn't help people's ratings, but like, I have actual content. I've gotten probably more views when he's gone than when he was here. And I'm not saying I'm not grateful for his energy or whatever, but like, people that are good at their job don't need Trump. Like Tucker Carlson doesn't need Trump. CNN needs Trump. MSNBC needs Trump. The people like Fox is doing more than okay. It's all these liberal platforms that are failing because all they did was talk about Trump. So in one way, I feel like, he's definitely the most popular Republican, no question. But also, he's also like the biggest fuel for Democrats. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But it would be interesting to me if it was someone new. I feel like DeSantis is way harder to hate. Like DeSantis is way smoother, way less goofy, way better on the medical stuff. Like, to be honest, way more appealing to like suburban moms and stuff. I think DeSantis is by far the golden ticket to winning. But it's not up to me. But I would say I would love that more than Trump, but it's not up to me. Someone said, are we going to make it? Really? Not with that attitude? Yeah, we'll be fine. Listen, I analyze stuff. I hope I don't seem like too big of a complainer, but like I enjoy my life. Like I wake up, I try to get in the sunshine, get a coffee, exercise. I like to play soccer. I play basketball. I'm having a great life. I'm making the most of it. So I hate to hear people like, are we going to make it? I'm like, sheesh, I hope so. I don't know. My life is good, but I'm just analyzing what's going on. I'm not trying to complain about it or say we're all doomed. I'm just saying like, this is what's happening. But I mean, are we going to make it? Yeah, of course. I think even if you look at like communist Russia or, Germany and World War II or whatever, pick your example. I would say like, it didn't last forever. Everybody didn't go away. Like, I'm not saying it's like ideal, obviously not, but like things go back and forth. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying like if things get tough, I feel like there's always a reason for it. So, I would say, God has a lesson for people and certain people need to learn their lessons. So America, we have a lot of lessons to learn. I don't think this is good, but like we are not a godly nation right now. We are a very, very wicked nation. Like our culture is wicked. Our, politics have been gross and disgusting. So I feel like this is like a lesson. I think the medical industry is way worse than people realize, and what they're doing to children when they're born is way worse than what people realize. So now that it's so in your face, it's kind of like a message like, this is how bad it is. That's the only nice thing I could say about Joe Biden, because I really think the guy is a creepo. But the only thing that I could say that even comes off somewhat nice, and it's not even a compliment to him, but it's more like what I think of it. He is the first real representation of the American regime that we've had maybe ever. George Bush made people feel patriotic for a little while. Obama made liberals feel like they had their guy in office, and Black America like they had one of them. Trump made blue collar workers feel like they finally had a guy, and normal Americans felt like we had somebody in office, right? But we didn't. Okay. George Bush wasn't really our guy. Obama wasn't really our guy. I hate to break it to people, but Trump really wasn't our guy. Or maybe he was and just screwed up or something. But Biden is not our guy. Everybody knows Biden's not our guy. Kamala Harris's approval rating's under 30%. Nobody likes her. That's what our government looks like. It looks like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So all of these other people made us think that something better was happening, and it really wasn't. And I'm not saying life was terrible. I'm just saying like, this is like sometimes like when you're sick, it's like a symptom. It's like, well, this is so bad, so you got to address what's going on in your body. It's like a warning shot. Joe Biden is like, that's what is going on. That's where our tax dollars are going to people like that. If Joe Biden can be the leader of this country, can you imagine how bad some of the leaders of these other industries and agencies are? If that's what the president looks like, that's probably what it's been like for decades in this country and getting worse and worse. So I think it's a message from God in a weird way of like, deal with it. That's why I get so annoyed at these fake, patriot people brainwashing like boomers. And I'm not trying, I love boomers. I'm just saying so many people over the age of 40 are like, I watch this person and they tell me that there's a secret code. And it's like, they're lying to you. They mix the truth with the lies and brainwash you into thinking everything's going to happen for you. And the reason that I say this is not because I don't want people to dream and imagine, but how you become great in anything is working on it. I don't get in good shape when I just sit on the couch and think that Trump's going to get in shape for me. That's not how anything in this world works. So how in the hell would the Republican Party get better after 2020 if 50% of the base is sitting watching X22 report and a bunch of these like, middle-aged women telling them that, there's secret, plans being hatched to save your whole life. And all you have to do is believe, patriots. Like, you should believe in God, not in these idiot people who are, sacrilegious, fake Bible freaking, overriders. But so that's why I say this type of stuff. Because like Joe Biden is what America looks like. So now it's time to, have a renaissance and deal with it and then build a new America. how are we going to build a new America when people think it's like just Joe Biden? It's like, no, he's the perfect representation of what our country looks like. Someone said a sixth grader can do a better job, but I'm just saying, like, for the last God knows how many years, your taxpayer dollars are going to people like Joe Biden and big pharma. You're giving them trillions of dollars. Like, our country's disgusting. Do you know how much I could do with $12 billion or a competent person? $12 billion, $11 billion. That's how much big pharma got. And what did you get out of that deal? You got a vaccine that you have to get even if you don't want, and a lifetime of forced medication. That's not ideal, but that's what happens when your guy gives the money to that industry, that corrupt industry, that time and time again settles out criminal lawsuits and such. So that's what I'm saying. I don't freak out about what's going on. I mean, it's clearly not ideal, but like, this is a message. We need to learn from Biden, because that's like what our country looks like behind it. You don't need another Donald Trump to make you feel like you have your guy there and they're just screwing you over. Biden is a message for a reason, to be like, this is how bad it is, not just in the front, but it's really that bad behind closed doors. So you got to do, got to build and do something about it. But I feel like that's the weird part about the Trump situation. It's like, on one hand, Trump did a lot. On one hand, he really didn't do anything. And he put in a bunch of idiots and Supreme Court failures who hate us and are going to rule against us. But so many people have bought into this like idol worship of him through either just loving him or listening to these phonies online tell them that there's like a secret society of people who can read messages better than others. And the only way to really get your country back, patriots, is to think that it's already happening. Like, it's not happening. It's not, it's like if I lost a basketball game and I'm like, oh, I secretly won in another dimension. Like, do you sound like a psychopath? It's like, no, we lost the game. We lost bad. We got duped. We got tricked. We got cheated, whatever you want to say. And the only way to win is to go back to the locker room and have a real conversation and work out more and shoot more and make sure that the referee's fair. Like, that's the only way. How are you going to win the game when half the party is like, oh, we're going to get there if we just believe? And you're like, believe in God. Don't believe in somebody you listen to on BitChute. And I'm not knocking BitChute. I like BitChute. I'm just saying, like, believe in God. Don't believe in, an anonymous, podcaster who tells you secret things that only you can understand, patriots. It's better than Fox News. This is the real deal. The only way to win, patriots, is to sit on the couch, watch Tom Brady throw the football, and just pray for Donald Trump to come back and save your life. It's like, no, that's not what the Bible says. Someone said, trust Q, trust Christopher Ray. Oh yeah, trust Ray, trust Bill Barr. Any day now, folks. The carrot will land. I got it. I got the carrot. 4 years. I told you this was going to pay off. I got the carrot. And then you wake up out of your dream and it's still hanging. You're like, yeah, I was so close. I watched so hard. Elaine said, oh my God, you're so misinformed. Oh yeah, Elaine, you really got it all figured out. I bet. I believe you. I'm not even mad at you. I believe it. You got it all. You've studied the codes. You got it all. You are really crushing the deep state. Someone said, come on, you play a fair game, but if somebody has control of the scoreboard, you will never win. No, I agree, James. But also, if the best player on your team is secretly playing for the other team and he's rigging the scoreboard for himself, and then after he rigs the scoreboard against your own team, he says, Patriots, I didn't see that coming. Meet me on January 6th. And then you go, and then he gets you all arrested by the feds. And then he says, I'll be down there at the Capitol, and he never goes. And then you get arrested, and he pardons Lil Wayne and Kodak Black. And then he leaves, and he's like, see you, Patriots. Sorry, I got you guys in trouble with the FBI. I'm going to go on Fox and sell vaccines. Like, if that, you get what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I agree with the scoreboard, but the guy that you think is playing on your team is fixing the scoreboard, and getting you in trouble with the feds and then running away to sell vaccines on Newsmax. Like that's what's going on. It's like LeBron James just puts up 50 points on the other scoreboard, but you think he didn't do it. Like that's probably a better analogy. What's up, Rebecca? Someone said, remember his platinum plan with 500 billion for the same people that destroyed the cities for months? I mean, I feel like it's a tricky thing to get, they're trying to win the black vote for sure, but I just don't think they're doing it. They're trying really hard, but I don't know. Black voters don't like Republicans still. Black voters feel like Dave Chappelle. I'm not saying all of them because it's not true. Obviously, there's millions of black people who like Trump and Republicans, but on average, if you look at it, like Dave Chappelle, dude, Dave Chappelle has been supported by tens of millions of white people, tens of millions of Republicans. Republicans love Dave Chappelle. White people love Dave Chappelle. And he still gets up there on stage and says, I don't have a problem with gay people. I have a problem with white people. And they're like, I'm the victim. It's like you could give Dave Chappelle $1 trillion. You can love him, buy all his specials, tell him how great he is, and he's still going to hate you. I don't know why Dave Chappelle feels that way. It's like, who does he think politically supports him? Is it Democrats or it's Republicans? Republicans are like, no, let Dave Chappelle do comedy. And he's like, oh yeah, Republicans suck. Mike Pence is gay and I hate white people. You're like, I'm sorry, but no amount of HBCU money or platinum plans is going to get Dave Chappelle to stop hating you. He needs to have a word with God and self-reflect and, tell the truth to himself. But at a certain point, I don't know how to get through to people. But, at the same time, I'm like, all right, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Someone said, is Ice Cube a sellout? I don't know if Ice Cube's a sellout. I wouldn't call him a sellout. I would say Ice Cube is on the right side of medical tyranny. But also I think Ice Cube thinks differently than I do. I wouldn't say he's a sellout, Ice Cube. I wouldn't say Chappelle's a sellout. I don't think Chappelle's a sellout. I don't think Ice Cube's a sellout. There's just certain things we disagree with politically, and socially. But there's this thing where people are really, here's my thing. There's people of all types that hate this and like this, but if you talk to people from outside of America and you really talk to people that have seen other countries, if you come to America, the systemic racism and the systemic hatred, there's so much hatred for white people from a lot of people. And among white celebrities, you see almost no hate for black people as a whole. That doesn't even exist anymore. I'm sure at a certain point it did, but it's not allowed to exist in Hollywood. But all of these black celebrities, no matter how woke they are, they can get on stage and say, oh, I'm mad at all white people. I hate all white people. It's the only group that you could do that to in America. And everyone knows it. You just can't say anything about it or else they'll call you racist. But it's like, this is why, as a comedian, I think Chappelle is one of the funniest people in the world. As a man, I don't really respect him. He's weak. He's, a crybaby victim who's mad at the LGBTs. And instead of sticking it and saying the truth and saying, listen, I don't hate gay people, but this is how I feel, he has to play the victim and then try to, give a handout to him and say, no, our enemy is the white man. And it's like, bro, and this is the same type of dude, Dave Chappelle, who if anybody said what he said about his ethnicity, he would be the first one freaking out. So it's like the double standards and hypocrisy are so annoying. I hear him talking about policing and stuff. And it's like, at a certain point, I was dumb enough to believe him. But it's like, listen, I don't think police are perfect. There's bad police. But it's like, he never talks about the crime in Chicago. He never talks about the crime in Brooklyn. He wouldn't last 2 seconds in these areas at this point. Why doesn't he go live in Bed-Stuy? Why doesn't he go live on the south side of Chicago? Why doesn't he go live in the hood in Atlanta? Why doesn't he go move back to the hood in DC and go to the more ghetto area? He doesn't want to go there because it's not safe there. But he'll get up on television and act like it's all white people and all the police's fault. And I'm not saying one group is to blame or not, but he turns a blind eye and acts like there's no other problem besides policing with his hundreds of millions. He's a liar. He's not an honest man. He's a great comedian, but he's a hypocrite. His biggest enemy is somebody who acts like him. Tariq Nasheed, God bless that guy, but he's got some great points, but also he's got this, like, I don't know if you guys know Tariq Nasheed, but he's got a Twitter, and his whole thing is like, he loves black people. He's black. He supports black people. He's all about his people. And then he said some stuff about white people. It doesn't bother me because I don't really care, but I'm thinking in my head, bro, if I said that about his ethnicity and did what he does for his ethnicity for my ethnicity, he would be the biggest one freaking out. That's why I don't partake in all of these games. Everybody's doing this like projection sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? The people that have the most hate for other races, they see it in themselves. Like, it's like they're seeing themselves in everybody else, where it's like, I know I'm not going to say millions, but I know dozens of people of every ethnicity, and I find a common theme. People that are in tune with themselves, whether they're black, white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever, mixed, people that are in tune with themselves, they're good. You know what I'm saying? They know there's hate in the world. They know there's ignorance in the world, but they're good because they're good. So they don't see it in everybody else. You get what I'm saying? They don't see all this stuff going on because a lot of times what you're looking for is what you see in yourself. So the people like Dave and Tariq, it's like their and Sean King, their number one enemy is themselves. They're fighting themselves constantly, and they're on the prowl for people of other ethnicities who act like they act. Where I know people that are chill as hell, and they're not crying about this stuff all the time because they don't live in that world mentally. That's how these things work. I'm not saying you can't be an activist, but like some of the most dedicated activists are on a lifetime tour or battle with themselves, finding themselves in other people and going to war with them. Once you heal yourself, you don't act like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's really a mindset, like spiritual sort of thing. But I see it and I'm just like, man, it's a sad way to live. I feel bad for them because I know that they're suffering tremendously. Like they're at war with themselves and they're at war with other people who act like them. And that's what they hate, where it's like they want people to treat them in a way that they don't treat others. If you don't want everybody to hate everyone of your ethnicity, that's totally understandable. That's a great way to feel. But do you do that? Oh, you don't do that? You do what you don't want people to do to you, to everyone else all the time on a weekly basis. You're going to, these people they're never going to be at peace. That's why Chappelle has all the money and the fame, all the world, and he's got all the fame, all the money, all the respect. I would say outside of comedy, Dave Chappelle is one of the most popular people in the world. He's one of the most popular people in the world, one of the most respected people in the world, one of the most defended people in the world. He's got to be one of the most loved people in the world, Dave Chappelle. And he's still not at peace. Look at him. He's not at peace. Why? Because he's at war with himself. He's at war with ethnic groups and political groups, one, that have his back constantly, and two, he feels about them how he doesn't want people to feel about himself. That's why he's such a mess. That's why he's not happy. That's why he's like, I'm not going to do stand-ups in a while because you're running away because you're not facing the truth. You're pandering so hard to the LGBTs and they still hate you because you're not confident about what you're saying because you're not being, I feel bad for him because he's such a talent and he's such a loved guy, but it's like he doesn't look happy because he wants everyone to act a certain way that he's not willing to act himself. And he's not willing to be honest about crime in areas and ethnic groups. So he's on a lifetime, apology / whatever tour. He'll figure it out. But he doesn't have to because he's already a legend. Someone said a mess says you LOL. I'm sure he's got good money. Oh no, he's way more rich, way more famous, way more successful, way more loved. I'm not acting like that, but I'm just saying, I feel like he's suffering. He'll tell you himself. Listen to him in an interview. He's not pumped. He's not super happy all the time. He's like a melancholy, sad dude. He's always sad. He's always complaining. He's always playing the victim. He's always, he's not super happy. Dude, I'm rich. I'm having a blast. He's like, I'm not being mean about it. I'm just saying I feel bad. There's a lot of people like that. Happiness doesn't come from money or fame. You gotta tell the truth to yourself. But that's just my take. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to agree with me. It's not a big deal. Someone said crime in areas dig deeper. Who brought the drugs there? No, James, for sure. I know about the war on drugs and I know about what they did, but here's the thing. I feel this way with white people in America too. Don't get it twisted. White people in America, I feel like play the victim too much right now. They're like, "Oh, what's going on? Why, now, like Chappelle said in his one special, now a lot of white people are addicted to drugs and dying of pills." I agree with that part of Dave's stand up. So with I would say the black community in America, I'm not knocking or doubting that they've been wrong before, and there have been agencies and groups of people that have done them wrong. But right now, in general, whether it be Louisiana or nicer white areas, I'm not saying Louisiana is not nice, but I'm just saying go to the poorest part of Louisiana. You still got to get your shit together. You know what I'm saying? At a certain point, you got to get your shit together. Where south side of Chicago, it's a lot more than just drugs there, dude. It's a whole mindset. And I've been to areas. Just because people are impoverished does not mean they have to act that way. So if you look at the crime rates, it's astronomical and nobody wants to talk about it. So I'm just saying, put it part of your equation. We could talk about the war on drugs. We can make a whole list and say, hey, this is all happening. But here's what I'm talking about. Dave Chappelle, Black Lives Matter. They will never admit that something's going on at all in those communities. And here's my thing. At this point in my life, I don't want to live in them. You can make every excuse under the book, say this and that. Nobody that has their stuff together wants to be around there, because why would you want to live there? Why would you want to live in an area that acts that way and have neighbors of people who act that way? So these things are part of the equation, and we could talk about things that happened in the past and things that are happening now. But at a certain point, there has to be a plan to mobilize and get out of that. How are you ever going to get out of it when you make excuses for it and say, well, this is happening and this is just how those people think? Well, that's super messed up, because if they were white, I would say, dude, I wouldn't be like, oh, well, they had the war on drugs, so that's a good idea for them to act that way. I would say to white people, I don't care what wrongs they did in the past. Like it's like equivalent to like LeBron James, where it's like, okay, his dad left him. He had a mom. If he just sat there and said, well, my dad left me, I have a mom, we don't have that much money, he never would have been successful. You still got to work. You might have to work harder, but in some ways that can benefit you. I didn't have everything handed to me. So that's what made it easier than certain rich kids. I had to work 20 times harder. Now I appreciate it. Now I have more skills. I'm not comparing, but I'm just saying, like, you got to go with the cards you were dealt. So if white people were doing that in the south side of Chicago, I wouldn't say, well, the war on drugs were bad, so it's okay that you're doing that. And that's what a lot of black groups do. They say, well, bad things happened in the past, so I'm going to act like this is totally fine and it's someone else's fault. That's a recipe for never solving the problem. I'm just being honest. So it's the same. I feel the same with conservatives and Republicans and white people. I think they play the victim too much. I think they just watch life. I'm not saying everybody, but watch life pass them by, watch things change, watch people screw them over, and they don't really have a plan for it because they're always on the defense, or they're always, saying, oh man, we got screwed over. It's like, okay, then what's the plan to stop doing it? So, I mean, there's really drugged out white communities in many countries. I mean, many counties, but the crime rates are not always that high. So, you got to figure out what's going on and really put a stop to it, or don't. And the FBI crime statistics are going to be the same every year, like they always are. And nobody's going to talk about it because it's like illegal to talk about now, but everybody's going to know it and everybody's going to act accordingly. And these areas are never going to get better, or they're going to temporarily get better and get worse. So people got to hold each other accountable. Their own ethnic group, themselves, their own political parties, whatever, you're not responsible for everyone else. But if we have to have a real discussion about it, I'm very familiar with what happened in the past and what has happened even now. The war on drugs is killing white people at record rates right now. Opioids, fentanyl, white kids are dying. The life expectancy is going backwards. White people are getting obliterated right now by drugs. I think that's horrible. Just like I think that it's horrible that the war on drugs happened in the black community decades ago. But still, you got to have a plan. I don't look at white people and say, well, big pharma is killing you, so, it's just what it is, like it's their fault. Just don't do anything about it. Like, no, you got to do something about it. You got to have a plan to figure out how to go the other way, But there is no plan right now, because most black celebrities that get to that point, they are, like Malcolm X said, working with or for liberals. Liberals run the show, so they put black liberals up there. If you're like a Brandon Tatum or a Candace Owens, you're not allowed to get there. But let me tell you, I'm not saying they're perfect, but Brandon Tatum and Candace Owens, they would do a better job running Chicago than Lori Lightfoot would. It's like these strong-willed, strong-minded black Americans who really want to push people in the right direction. These are the ones that get attacked by Dave Chappelle. He made fun of Candace Owens on his special, and he said, "Oh, Candace Owens are stanks." And it's like, because Dave Chappelle is a professional victim liar who would never tell the truth about what's going on in these communities. He'd never live there. He doesn't go there, but he doesn't want to tell the truth about it. So, it's a multi-layered issue. It's not saying that it's been right in the past, but you gotta put a plan together. And not everybody, how to go the other way. Well, I'm telling you, like, mindset is such a huge thing. If you talk to, and I'm not saying everybody, because there's crime in other countries as well, but if you talk to like Nigerian parents and Nigerian culture and people who immigrate there, they call them the racists in Africa. That's what I've heard from people in Africa. They say, "Oh, these Nigerians are supremacist black people. They think they're so much better than everyone else." They have a bad rap among other ethnic groups in Africa because of their mindset. They come to America and they're getting higher base level salaries than white people. Why is that? Because of their mindset. They don't act like black Americans. And and I'm just being honest, they'll tell when their family gets here, a lot of times, they're like, "Don't act that way. Because if you act that way, you're going to end up dead or in jail. You're going to end up failing out of school. You're going to end up poor. Don't act that way. We're black, but we don't act that way." Americans brainwash people into thinking that was okay through music, through culture, and it's not. So yes, of course, things have happened to families that are here, but people come from all other countries, all ethnicities broke, and the crime rate is not nearly as high because they don't have that type of mindset. Even if you have $0 in your bank account, or it doesn't mean that you have to go and do that. So it's a bigger issue than poverty or drugs. It's a mindset that's being fed to people through media. They're telling people through music, it's cool to do that. Keep doing it. People like Dave Chappelle get up there and say, "That's fine that you're doing that. It's other people's fault." And people from Nigeria or other parts of Africa come here and be like, "That's not fine. That's really stupid. And I don't want to act that way." So it's a mindset issue. And I don't want to compare, but it's like there are many, many areas in the country that are poor and below the economic rates of some of these areas that don't have astronomical crime rates because people don't do that. Someone said white people own 90% of the resources. You're asking black America to compete? Well, first of all, I don't own anything. So I can't relate to people who own everything. Nobody owns. As somebody who's Italian, Polish, Puerto Rican, you have to understand my family doesn't own all this stuff. I don't get anything. My handouts, my extra boosts up in life, right? Well, anomaly, we're going to help you because we're white. It doesn't exist. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm part Puerto Rican. If I want a handout in America, if I want to boost up, if I want someone to be racist in my favor, I put down Hispanic because this country discriminates against white people. So the benefit is not in my white, it's in my Hispanic. There is no benefit. I didn't get anything. I got less things because they're discriminating against white people. And then when I start working, I'm not making excuses. I don't own shit. Liberals own everything. A lot of people that you think, "Oh, they're so white." A lot of Jewish people own a lot of stuff, and they don't particularly care about me, and they don't even consider themselves in the same ethnic group as me. So I'm not blaming them. I don't hate them. I understand, like, my family, my ethnic group might not really own that much, and they don't really care about me. So I just kept working and working and working and working. And I'm trying to help everybody, but there's people who are dying of opioids. There's white people in every rural city that are dying. That's not good. I don't like it, but I don't sit there and say, "Well, they're dying of opioids and life expectancy is going backwards for white people and we're losing this and we're losing that." I just keep freaking working because I have that type of mindset. So if I sat here and said, oh my God, I feel so victimized. They're hurting white people. They don't give me anything and people are dying of pills. I would never be successful. I just keep chugging, just like thousands of black entrepreneurs and black millionaires in this country, just like Kanye West, who's the richest black man on the planet with $6 billion. How did Kanye West get $6 billion? Because he doesn't have a victim mindset. If he had the mindset of they don't like me, he never would have got anything. Listen to him in an interview. He got all that money. He's got more money than 99.99999% of white people on the planet because he's a doer and a creator and an inventor and a go-getter and a no excuses kind of guy. That's just the truth, you know? And there's a lot of people that come from, like I said, like they come from other countries. They don't speak the language. You know, Hispanics laugh at this type of shit. I'm going to just be honest. Like Hispanics come to this country and bust their ass. You know what I'm saying? Nobody gives a shit. Like, oh my God, you're Mexican. We're going to give you all this stuff. Like people don't do that in America. People don't look at and say, oh my God, they bust their freaking ass. You know what I'm saying? That's why Hispanics look at this type of stuff and they think, yo, these people like start working harder, you know? And that's not, I'm not trying to be rude or mean. I'm just saying like, just like Africans from Nigeria, they don't say, well, I only own 10% of stuff. They're like, I gotta grind. That's why if you look at their salaries, they're higher than white people's salaries on average because of the mindset. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's going to be fair. I'm not saying life is not fair. It's not every day I walk into work, and I'm not trying to make it a racial thing, but on Facebook, they're promoting black creators. They're promoting black creators. Well, not really black creators. They're promoting black liberal creators. If you're a black conservative, they won't promote you. But my job's working against me. They're taking away my money. They're taking away my live stream. I'm getting calls from freaking agencies like I'm involved with stuff. I mean, this whole administration is trying to target me and everybody who agrees with me like we're terrorist organizations. Do you see me complain about it every day? I could sit here and cry and act so, you know. Someone said black people created 90% of the inventions. Learn real history. James, God bless you, my man. But here's the thing. Go invent something then, bro. I'm not even going to argue with you and have this. I've had a debate with young Pharaoh about stuff because there's different interpretations of history. But it's like, I don't sit here and say, well, Orville Wright invented the plane. That's me, dog. Like, I'm not trying to be rude, but it's like, I'm responsible for my shit. I don't look at what white people did and say, oh my God, I invented all this shit because they did it. Like, that type of mentality is like lame. I'm not trying to be rude, but like, then you invent something. If black people are that innovative and inventing everything, that's awesome. Go invent something. I just think it's like, oh my God, I don't sit here and be like, man, white people did all this. Me, I'm responsible for what I'm doing. I would never say that in a group chat that everyone did because I'm concerned with what I'm doing, what my business is doing, what my creations are doing, what my videos are doing, what my songs are doing. I'm not taking, I don't look at history and take credit for what Elvis did or someone else did. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. I'm just saying, like, it's a mindset sort of thing. That's dope, man. So I hope you have a leg up with innovation. You know what I'm saying? If you're that much more innovative than me and my ethnicity, God bless you. Then go make a classic. Then go get that money, because there's tens of thousands of black creators right now making millions of dollars. I got friends that are making their dreams come true. My buddy Patriot J, who is black. He's not like Obama black, where he's half white and half black. He's like actually black. I'm not saying Obama's not, but I'm just saying full black. He just passed the bar exam. You know what I'm saying? He just got his lawyer license, the bar. He works for a news organization now. He's been on television. He's making rap songs. How does he do all this, right? Because he's got a great mindset. He's hella smart, but he's also like, doesn't play the victim, enjoys his life, doesn't complain, and he's killing it. He's like 23 and he's doing like 7 different things. These are the people that I connect with. I don't sit and have one ethnic group of friends, but there's different types of people that rock with different types of stuff. If you want to win in this world, you got to just go get it. Regardless of who invented what. I'm not even going to argue because I don't even care. Like, I don't even know what ethnic group Orville and Wilbur Wright were that invented the plane, but I'm guessing some sort of white. But if they weren't, I'm grateful every time I'm in the sky. But I don't look at the plane and think I deserve credit for it because of my group. Like, they did that. I didn't do that. I'm glad they did. But, I do think about George Washington Carver, though. When I eat peanut butter, I'm like, I appreciate that. Respect. That's an American black legend. Jason said he had money to start with. I don't know that that's true, though. I don't know. Maybe, but here's my thoughts with things. I'm not going to compare myself to 50 Cent. Like 50 Cent started from here. He got shot 9 times. Now he's a multimillionaire. Not everyone can do that, but he did it. You know what I'm saying? So with myself, I worked my ass off for 10 years. I didn't have any money. My parents never gave me a single dollar. They never helped me out. I had meetings that I had to be my own lawyer because I was too poor to afford a lawyer. I'm grateful for that. I used to, and this is the thing. We could compare life and everybody had it different, but the biggest mistake that I made in my life was having that type of mindset. I'm just going to be honest. Like, I used to think, well, that person has a famous mother. Well, that person has more money than me. Well, that person's being funded by their family. Well, that person has a connection at that label. Well, that person's in that family. I used to think that way. And that was the biggest thing that screwed up my career, was being envious, jealous, and excuse making. My whole life changed when I started being grateful and being like, you know what? I don't have as much as that person. I don't have as much as that person. I don't have the connections that that person does, but I do have a cell phone, and I'm grateful because with my cell phone, I can do whatever the hell I want and put it out there to the world. Because 50 years ago, whether you were white or black, you didn't have access to that. You know, there was James Brown, there was Ray Charles, there was Elvis, there were black celebrities and white celebrities, but they had to go through a record label because that's all there was. Now I could create my own record label with a $7 domain. I started thinking like that, and that's how I became a mogul. That's how I became a CEO, because I stopped comparing to everybody else. Now, when I look back at it, I feel like an idiot when I was 23 and 24. And I used to say, well, that person's dad is in the radio industry and that's why he got on. It's true. But that's why I'm so much more of a beast. I edit my own videos. I film my own videos. I'm my own manager. I learned all these skills that these rich kids didn't have to learn because they had people do it for them. But that's what made me such a beast. And that's probably what makes 50 Cent or Kanye West such a beast. That struggle is what builds you. And if you could struggle harder and make it, I don't look at somebody who struggled less and think now, well, they got the struggle left to be here. I'm so grateful I struggled more. I don't look at it like, oh my God, he had a leg up. I'm like, that's my superpower. That's why I'm so good at and I'm not saying at everything, but like, it's because I did bust my ass for 10 years. I worked so hard. I got some and I lost it all. And I worked at a supermarket. Half the people there had a criminal record because nobody wants to work that job. God bless everybody there. Everyone was cool. But I'm just saying, I worked at 11 o'clock till 7 p.m., 7 a.m. in the morning. I worked the graveyard shift for 5 hours after I dropped out of, for 5 months after I dropped out of school, and I failed out / dropped out. So I'm broke. I lost all my rap stuff. I'm in an overnight supermarket where I'm one of the only people there without a criminal record because nobody wants to work that job. I didn't start feeling bad for myself. I started crushing it. So now that I got all this, that's why I'm such a beast. That's why I'm so good. Anomaly, you seem like you got the craziest work ethic. How do you make so many videos? Because I've been broke for 10 freaking years. Because I worked on a farm. Because I worked at an overnight supermarket. Because nobody gave me this shit. So I'll be damned if I lose it now. I'm not losing it. I don't look at this like, oh my God. I'm like, shit, this is awesome. I have 8 different streams of revenue. I have a business going. I'm selling shirts. Like, I'm living my dream. And I'm never going to stop. But it's because of my struggle. So if you struggle more than me, that could be your superpower. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure Kanye West talks about how many beats he made when nobody wanted to rap. They didn't want to let him rap, so he made his own rap album. And then they didn't want to let him do that. Turn it into your superpower. That's all I'm saying. God bless you, my man. I hope that you kill it in whatever you do, but that's what I'm trying to say. And I'll tell you what, there's this Theo Vaughn comedy special I just watched, and he was like, I think he grew up in Louisiana, poor. And he tried to say that some of his neighbors were black, and they say, yo, white people stole my shit. You stole my shit. And one of his funniest jokes was like, he's like, you think I would steal your shit and then move in next door? You know what I'm saying? He's like, if I stole your shit, why would I move in next door? And then Theo Vaughn said, somebody stole both of our shit. You get what I'm saying? That's the realest shit I ever heard, where say it were reverse and black people owned a lot of stuff. I could sit here and blame every black person, but that's not true. There would be a certain group, a small, tiny group, in some cases, certain families, certain bloodlines that shit I'm not a part of. They look at me like I'm a mudblood. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a Harry Potter. They own everything. So if I were to say, well, it's all those people, you could do that, but you're never going to hone in on what's really going on because you're blaming 99% of saying it's their fault or they own something. Like it doesn't work like that. And the government is robbing everybody. Someone said, so you're rich today? I'm rich in spirit. I'm rich in mindset. I'm rich in health. Am I rich? Depends who you ask. I would say I'm richer than I've ever been. 2 years ago, I had $0 in my bank account. Like I didn't have a savings. I didn't have a 401k. So I don't know what you would consider rich, but if I keep going on this path for a couple of years, I would say I will be. But for now, life is good. I'm fine. I got savings, but in general, there's a certain group of people that are screwing everybody over. And I understand racially what's going on, but it's like even when I spoke about, a lot of people in media and banking and stuff are Jewish. If I said, hey, you're white, they'd say, I'm not white, I'm Jewish. They don't even consider themselves white. If I blamed every Jewish person for what they were doing, I would be an asshole, and I would also be wrong. And God would probably stop blessing me because I'd be blaming a bunch of people that didn't do it. Like I like this one deli, this Jewish deli that I go to. They're not working with the Rothschilds. If they were, I feel bad for them, because if you got Rothschild money and you're working at a deli, you got screwed out of something somewhere. So it's like, that's what you got to understand. It's like, it's not everybody. If you don't agree with the government of Israel, you got to understand you'd probably get along with 90% of Israelis. It's not their fault of what their government's doing, and it's not all Jewish people's fault of what some Jewish people are doing. And it's crazy to blame everybody for that. So it's like same with either crime rate or this or that or music or whatever. It's like you can't blame everybody. It's okay to notice patterns. You could say, well, white people own a lot of this. I don't care. A statistic is a statistic, but like people have gotten so comfortable blaming everybody for what just some people are doing. And you don't have to ignore ethnicity, but I think God will bless people who really care about good people. And I've been so lucky and so fortunate to meet so many good souls and people of different groups where you realize you're like, oh man, like, some of my best friends are Jewish and they would never call me an anti-Semite. They'll joke with me, you know what I'm saying? But if I said it publicly, they'd call me an anti-Semite. But it's like, I know through experience that there's great people in all groups, and same with Black or Hispanic. So it's like, but that doesn't mean you have to ignore statistics and say they don't exist. But if you are upset with me or other white people based on the actions of certain white people, you can do it, but it's not going to lead you to success or prosperity. It's going to be a constant struggle. Like Chappelle, for instance, white people have helped him become one of the most wealthy, successful, famous, fortunate people on planet Earth. And yes, Black people helped him do it too, but so did white people. So how the hell could you have a beef with a whole race of people who helped you to such a place? Man, that's why I'm so grateful for everybody. When I got fans over here in this country and that anomaly, we listen to Nigeria, we listen in Israel. I'm like, thank you so much. I pray that God blesses me with discernment and, graciousness. And because I have that type of attitude, people get it. But if I started beefing with a whole ethnic group of people and blaming a bunch of broke people for what the rich people in their group were doing, that would be off base. But you could say statistics and historical facts, but that's all I'm trying to say. Mindset wise, no excuses, and I would say this mentally too, is like, it does a disservice, I think, to anybody. Like there's a lot of white people who they're ashamed of their skin color, right? I'm ashamed to be white. You're doing yourself disservice. God didn't create you for, that color for no reason. So you got to love yourself. If you hate yourself, you're really doing God a disservice. And it's the same with Black, where if you look at your situation, what's going on, and say, with anger, you're doing a disservice, because everybody is in a specific place for a reason. And it's not to say that you have to stay there. You have to be okay with wickedness and stuff. But I see so many people that are just like, I hate my skin color because of, I feel bad. And it's like, that's not going to lead you to the right place. Or, I hate their skin color. I'm mad at this. It's like, once you embrace it and once you're grateful for your position, and then once you start working towards where you want to be, it'll happen. And I'm not trying to say it could happen to someone said, get back on topic. What's the topic? Larry, this is the topic. So this is the topic. But in general, it's like, that's how you come to anything. You got to just make it happen against all odds. That's it. Someone said hating your own race is a mental disease. Well, it's being pushed through the media. They're doing it to everybody. They're trying to turn white against black. They're trying to do it in a way that makes no sense, like not common sense. Okay, we're going to, figure it out and move forward. They want there to be that type of tension. They want there to be that type of disdain. And also they want white people to hate their skin color and hate themselves and feel bad. And they want black people to feel negative and also self-inward. They want people to feel like they can't do it. And that's what a lot of conservatives talk about. I'm not saying everybody, but like, I don't say this from a position of privilege or I'm just trying to recognize game in the human race. You got to take control of your own mind. If you let the government and corporations tell you that you're down, you're going to be down. So that's why with all this stuff, all these restrictions and stuff, that's for the birds. That's not for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't even let them into my mindset. Because once they could get into your mindset and say, hey, you're at a disadvantage. You're this, you're that. You need our help. You need assistance. You need this, you need that. They start playing you. Once you become self-sufficient or independent from that, that's the only way to win. Someone said back to the title topic. Hold on, Larry. You're blocked, bro. Sorry. You're blocked forever. I don't mean to be rude, Larry, but it's like, this isn't a slave camp, buddy. This is my live stream. So if you suggest I go back to the title topic, you missed it, bro. You're 2 hours into a live stream. I'm not going back for you. If you demand I go back, you're blocked forever. Now you can't see my page. 1.7 million people, not you, not Larry. Sorry, Larry. But I'm just trying to help out because that's what I feel like that's what Kanye talks about so much. You could call him privileged or something. Maybe you think Kanye West grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth. Maybe he did or something. But from what I know, he grew up with a single mom. They weren't rich, and he worked to the position. Listen when Kanye talks. He's definitely not perfect. He definitely is not always saying the right things or whatever. But one really big gem when Kanye talks, he rejects victim mentality. He rejects it completely. He rejects all these liberal ideas. And they say, oh, Kanye, that sounds racist. Kanye's got $6 billion in his bank account or $6 billion of value. I'm not saying money's everything, but it's like, if you are envious of wealthy white people, don't you want to listen to the wealthiest black person? Or if if you think that white people own too much, listen to the wealthiest black person to ever walk the face of the earth. His name is Kanye West, and he's very interesting. It's not like, oh, he's got this mindset because he made so much money. It's the other way around. He's got this much money because he's got that type of mindset. And I know that because it worked for me, not to that level of wealth, but I didn't get this type of mindset when I got the money. It's not like we're selfish. Someone said unblock Larry. Say it again and you're blocked too. Okay, you're ruining the show. But I didn't get all this success and then be like, oh, I'm a scumbag now. I'm a sellout. No, I changed my mind. I changed my mindset, not in a selfish way, in a smart way, in a grateful way, in an appreciative way. When I was broke, you could say what you want about me, but I could show you bank statements from 3 years ago. I had no money. Okay, I was paying for rent in a city month by month, barely any savings. I mean, I worked at parts of my life to get it up a little bit, but I changed my mindset, and then my whole life skyrocketed when I changed my mindset. It's the same with Kanye West. He didn't get the money and then change the mindset. He changed his mindset and then got all the money. So that's what I'm trying to give people game. And if you don't trust me, because I'm a Caucasian cracker, no, I'm just kidding. But in general, I'm mostly white European with a little bit of Puerto Rican, with a little bit of Boricua, golden boy. I'm not white. Nobody's really like white or black. Like very few people are white. I'm starting a new race. It's called the golden race. If you want to join, white people are golden and I'm not trying to say, oh, so special. I'm just saying like my skin looks more like a golden than a white. But anyway, it's like, if you don't want to hear from me, I don't care. Listen to Kanye. You know what I'm saying? The richest black person to ever walk the face of the earth. He'll tell you how he got there. Someone said, say it again or you're blocked too. I'm not trying to be mean, but he's like, he's like whipping me like a donkey. Like, I talk about the title. It's like, bro, you're 2 hours into a live stream. It's like going to Tucker Carlson's show in the last 2 minutes and being like, bro, can you run it back? It's like, dude, wait till the next Fox News rerun, dude. Like, I'm sorry that this is a live show, so I'm extra animated, but that's just how it goes. Someone said blocking those you disagree with makes you know better than we're against. Chris, I'm not blocking people I disagree with, like ethically or morally. Me and James had a debate. Someone said, LOL, you're denouncing your true race or color. Me and James have been debating for 30 minutes and he's still here. I didn't block Larry because he's debating me. I blocked Larry because he's demanding I talk about something that I already talked about. And you're going to get blocked too. Not because I disagree with your politics, because you're annoying. And I'm not Mark Zuckerberg. I don't own the metaverse. This is my page. I block whoever I want. I block thousands of people on Twitter because they annoy me. You can't do that. Yeah, I can. I don't even have to use Twitter. What are you talking about? And to James saying I'm denouncing my race, I'm not denouncing, James. I'm rebranding. I'm rebranding. In America, they're trying to say, you're black. And here's how black people think. And then they say, you're white. And this is how white people think. I'm just being honest. I'm saying, because of the lighting, say if I turn it this way, this might be a more golden, saying I'm not this white. I feel like, especially it's nighttime, but in the sun, I look golden. I'm not denouncing my race. I'm just saying I'm rebranding. It's like when I talk to people who are flat earthers and they're like, what do you think about flat earth? And I'm saying it's time to rebrand flat earth. Flat earth sounds flat. Nobody wants to listen to that. I'm flat earth. I'm a flat earther. Like, it's not flat. Dome earth. I'm trying to help out the flat earthers, rebrand into the dome earth. Now people are like, okay, so with white, I'm not white. I'm golden in the sun where I belong. And I want to say this too, because hold on one second. And I'm not gonna say who, James, because I'm not trying to name drop, but I'm gonna show you. This is a dictionary, okay, from 1828, okay. 1828. So I was hanging out, getting a little turn with a rapper friend of mine. I'm not gonna say what rapper it is, but you probably know the rapper. He's pretty famous, and he was hanging out at my place, and we were getting lit, having a good time, showing each other our rap songs and such. And we were talking about this stuff. He's black according to America, like he's black, but he feels the same way I do. Now he doesn't call himself golden, but he said, I'm a copper colored person. He said, I'm not from Africa. He said, I'm from America. So he said to me, and he said, I told him I had this, and he said, yo, look up the definition of America. Okay. I'm going to do it real quick right here on live stream. So he said, look up what it means to be American. Okay. Cause this is 1828 dictionary. This is like 200-year-old dictionary. All right. I'm going to look it up real quick and I'm going to read what I said. It was so funny, but also now I'm like, he's got a point. So here, I got to get there real quick. Let's see. America. Here it is. So this is what it says. Where's that? American. Okay. So under the definition, this is the dictionary from America in 1828. So 200 years ago. The definition of American in the dictionary, it says a native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals or coppered colored races found by the Europeans, but now applies to the descendants of Europeans born in America. So the original definition of America said the coppered color people who were already here. He held up a penny on his arm and he said it was the same color as his skin. He's black, but he was really coppered color. He said, I'm coppered color. He said, I'm an American. He said, I talked to my great grandma and she said we were Native American. People like I was not chilling with Waka Flocka, but I'm just saying Waka Flocka has said the same thing. He's like, I'm not black. I'm American. I'm from America. I'm an original American. That's the real definition of American is coppered colored people. If you look at a lot of black people, not everybody's from Africa. Some people are coppered colored. So he's a famous black rapper who you probably think is black, but he said, bro, I'm not black. I'm American. So he doesn't buy into any of this stuff because he's like, that's not who I am. They're trying to tell me that I came from slaves and I came over here. He was like, my family did not come from there. And I talked to my great grandma about it. So that's the type, like, not there are obviously people from Africa, but not everything they tell us is as accurate as the historical documents I got. So I've never heard golden, but if you look at me in the sun, I'm rebranding my ethnic group. I don't white in this country has been beaten down, by the media, by the press. I think it's time for people to get back to their heritage. Are you Italian? Are you Greek? Are you German? Are you Czechoslovak? Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying you have to be like a crazy person about it, but they've branded white and thrown it into the gutter. And then the corporations have branded black and thrown it into the gutter. So it's time for us to take control of our heritage, to take control of our ancestors and our, genetics, and take the narrative back from these people, because they're geniuses at taking both races and running us into the trash bin. So I don't identify as white. I identify as cracker, Caucasian, golden. My pronouns are golden boy or golden skin. I don't know. We'll figure out some more. We'll rebrand. Someone said pinky. That's fine. Pinky in the brain. Someone said I'm freckled American mix. I like that. And I'm not saying to abandon your heritage. I'm just saying I don't like. I know my hair. I talked to my great aunt. I know what part of Italy I'm from. I know. I know my one grandfather's from Poland. Someone said I'm a proud saltine American. There you go. That you got it. James said that's the first true thing you said all night. LOL. See, James has been disagreeing with me all night. You know why he didn't get blocked? Because he was just disagreeing with me. And I don't block people who disagree with me. I block people who are annoying. He wasn't being annoying. He was like, you're wrong. We invented everything. You stole my shit. No, I'm just kidding. But he was yelling at me the whole night. Why didn't I block him? It doesn't bother me. It was Frank or whatever his name, Larry. He's like, hey, boy. He's like, start talking about the title thing. And I said one time, I said, no, Larry, we already talked. This is the topic. This is what I want to talk about. And then he came back and he said it again. So I said, all right, you're blocked, not for disagreeing with me, he thinks he runs the show. It's like the one guy's name was like Donut 57 or whatever, like not Balloon Not 452 or whatever. And he's like, Anomaly, get off. It's like, who told you run my show? But Balloon Not 757. Yeah, you're banned. I'd even ban Balloon Not, but it's like people got some nerve. Like it's the same type of thing where this is outside of ethnic group, but like not everybody acts the same way. Someone will come into my like Instagram live stream and they'll be like, Anomaly, you talk too much. I'm like, I agree, but why are you here? I'm here for multiple reasons. Like it's my show. Why are you here? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not forcing you to be in my Instagram live. So people weird me out like that. They're like, they think they run the show. They stay for 3 hours and then they're like, dude, you're so annoying. I'm like, shit, I must be the most fun, annoying people or something. Cause I can't even watch Rachel Maddow for like 2 minutes and I get annoyed. I'll turn it off. Dave Chappelle is, I would say in my head, easily a top 5 comedian that I like. I turned off his new special. Even he was boring me and annoying me. And I think he's one of the greatest comedians ever. And these are people I like. And Dave Chappelle is like a fortified entertainer. I mean, he's getting paid like $100 million from Netflix or whatever. Like this guy's entertaining. I didn't even want to watch that. How in the world can you watch me for 2 hours and complain the whole time? It's like self-torture. Like you're like dropping water on your head and you're like, Chinese water torture. And I'm like, dude, you're doing it to yourself. And you're like, this hurts so twink. And I'm like, bro, you're doing it. And you're like, the Chinese virus. Trump was just about to beat Pelosi. Trump closed down the border. And I'm like, dude, just walk away from the water. Like you're like torturing yourself. If my videos are that bad, I won't even disagree with you. I'm just saying like, why are you here? And that's why I'm not trying to be mean I'm not like I care so much. I'm just saying like I don't even watch people I love for that long. I listen to like, Alex Jones yell. I fall asleep. I wake up. He's talking about aliens and like, like water. And I'm like, I can't even listen to him for 5 minutes without falling asleep or like, getting bored. Or like ESPN. I'll get bored in like 10 minutes. So I can't relate to you coming to my thing for like an hour and being like, this is the worst thing ever. You're like, okay. But I okay. So why are you here then? I don't get it. Someone said exactly. Well, some people love to hate, or I don't know. I'm the type of person, like, if I'm at a restaurant I don't like, I'm not there. I'm gone. I don't want to be there. Like, I don't like to lurk and I, I'm 32 now. I don't even want to be in certain place. Like, I don't even want to hang out with certain people. I got friends I don't even want to hang out with. Like, I can't relate to somebody that'll sit somewhere they don't want to be. They're like, oh, this sucks. I'm like, bro, you could hate on me, and trust me, I don't care. I got a lot of flaws. But there's something wrong with what you're doing if you don't like me, but you're here under your own free will. And I'm trying to like walk you through it because like, don't you think you talk too much? Like, absolutely. Like, don't you get tired of ranting? Oh, for sure. Don't you think that you do this too much? Debatable, but maybe, sure. But why are you here then? I don't, I'm not even trying to be mean. I'm just like, find something you like and go do it. Like, seriously, like, this is bad luck because I played my harmonica last time at the end of my live stream, and it was my last live stream. I played it, and then they shut down my whole live stream. But I used it as an example. I said, instead of hating so much, I play the harmonica. I bought this. I used to play this and when I was like 16, and I just bought this a couple weeks ago, and I remember how to play it. So I bust out the harmonica just to show people like, this is what I do in my free time. Not just this, but that's fun for me. I'm like, how do I play Neil Young? How do I play Heart of Gold? I'm not like, how do I sit in a live stream I don't like for 5 hours and complain about being there? It's like, I'm gonna hit them with an Americana classic. Ready for the declining nation of America. I might mess it up. I apologize if I mess up already. Bars. Flawless. I'm not going to say flawless, but pretty damn good. I taught myself how to play that when I was 15. I didn't play it for over 10 years. I bought the harmonica and I never looked at it again. I remembered how to play it from 15 years ago. I learned how to play Neil Young the other day. Remember, I said before I got banned, I was like, oh, I got to figure out how to play Neil Young. And I did figure out how to play it. The Heart of Gold song. Hold on. I think I just, I got to find the tabs though. I'll play it another time. Let's end on that because I'll screw up. I'll play it again. I could play Neil Young, Heart of Gold, Billy Joel, Piano Man. Why? Why isn't I only talking about the harmonica? The lesson is because I don't sit in live streams of people I don't like. I teach myself how to play the harmonica. Someone said that was actually pretty good. Listen, I'm not trying to brag, but the boy's kind of nice. Let me see. Neil Young. I was on live stream and someone was talking shit to me, and I figured out how to play Heart of Gold literally just looking at the tabs live. Let me see. And then I got kicked off my live stream because I played the song in the background and got a copyright strike for playing Neil Young. But I'll get it another time. It's a pretty song though. Someone said Jones Anomaly 20. Is that Alex Jones? I would definitely vote for Alex Jones over Trump. I would prefer Rand Paul over Alex Jones, but for entertainment value, I would probably possibly vote for Alex Jones. Like if Alex Jones started surging in the polls and Rand Paul was super low, I'd be like, all right, I'm voting for Alex Jones. Like how good you think Trump was funny? Oh my gosh, that would be so good. If Trump could be president and Biden can be president and Rachel Levine can be health, whatever, Alex Jones could be president. I think it's about time to we rolled the dice on Trump. It's time to roll the dice on Alex. But Alex tests conspiracy theories. Listen, he also fights interdimensional space aliens and has a good understanding with how the water's turning people gay. So I would vote for him. That would be so fun. As long as he didn't sell out and just started going super hard. Someone said, I don't trust Alex Jones. You don't have to trust him in order to enjoy him as president. Could you imagine that, though? Outside of what you think of him, some people here love him. Some people don't like him. Some people are on the fence. Just think about him being president. That's all I want you to do. I'm not trying to sell you on Alex Jones. I'm just trying to sell you on the idea of Alex Jones for president. Listen, people said with Trump, oh, Trump, he said grab him by the blank. It's disgusting, but his economics are pretty damn good. I'm going to vote for Trump. Not everybody loved Trump. He's a hard-nosed businessman. Oh, my God, I can't believe he did that. But that's how I would be with Alex Jones. I'll be like, oh, I don't like that he said that. But, just to get him in there, just for like a little entertainment. That would, come on, stop. You're gonna act like that would not be hilarious, whether you love him or not. We're not talking about the biggest group of winners here. We're talking about politicians. Someone said he's not stable. Is Biden stable? Is that what stable looks like? If I had a stable of horses, I would look at Biden and be like, that's the least stable horse. Alex Jones he's self-aware. Like, this is one compliment I have for Alex. I have a few, but he's very self-aware. Like, he would be like, listen, he was on Joe Rogan. He's like, I'm going to die from a heart attack when I'm 58, 59 years old. I'm too high strung. And Joe was like, Alex, just like work out. He's like, we don't want you to die. We love you. And like, Alex is like, nope, too late. He's like, I'm going to die when I'm 58. And he's like 48 now. It's like, bro, no one wants you to die. What are you doing? You would never see Joe Biden say that. Like Alex wouldn't even disagree with you. If you said, Alex, you're a loose cannon, he wouldn't be like, no, I'm not. He'd be like, no, you're right. He's like, I'm going nuts. Like, he always, like, he one time said, because like sometimes he'll say, he's very spot on about a lot of stuff, but sometimes he'll say stuff and be like totally wrong. He admits that, though. That's one thing that you got to like about him. Like, I heard on Joe Rogan one time, because Joe's like, hey, why'd you say that? And he's like, listen, Joe, he's like, I'm 70, 80% accurate. He's like 20% of the time, he's like, I mess up. He's like, I go on tangents and stuff. Like, you're never going to see Don Lemon be like, yo, I only tell the truth 80% of the time, or like 20% of the time I kind of go too far. He'll literally say that. Like, he'll be like 80% of the time, he's like, I'm like a dart. He's like, you're not going to find anything more accurate. He's like 20% of the time, he's like, I'll admit. He's like, I do get a little carried. It's so good. I'm like, dude, it makes him such a lovable guy. I'm like, have you ever heard anybody admit that they fuck up, excuse my language, 20% of the time? That's so funny. It's just funny hearing him say that. Like, I would vote for him. It doesn't mean I think he would do a perfect job. I just think it would be hilarious. And I'm already bored. I'm already bored of the Biden administration. It's boring. And Trump is not like as cool as he once was. So I'm ready for Alex. That would be so fun. If they could lock down the country and make everybody wear masks, why can't we have Alex Jones as president? Like, if this were 2019, I'd be like, no, like, come on, that's too crazy. Like, he's too loose. I don't trust him. It's 2021. They shut the whole country down and forced masks on everybody, and now they're trying to get everybody vaccinated. Like, it's time for Alex Jones as president. Like, it's not 2019. You don't live in pre-COVID world. The world has gone mad. Listen, I'm not saying everybody's a pedophile. I'm just saying there's a lot of them. I messed up, Ray. Sorry. I gotta work on the Alex. It kind of hurts my voice. Someone said, Candace, I'm not trying to say anybody besides Trump, but I don't know. Trump's got to stop selling Johnson & Johnson. Like, but he's not mandating it, Anomaly. I don't care. I don't like Johnson & Johnson. I'm sorry. I don't like their baby powder. I don't like their sunscreen. I don't like their medical products. I can't find the only thing I like that Johnson & Johnson makes is Band-Aids. Like, Band-Aids seem okay, but I haven't even looked at the ingredients in that. I believe they own Band-Aids. Besides that, There's not a single Johnson & Johnson product I want. I'm not anti-medicine. I just don't freaking like Johnson & Johnson. They're whatever. They're not like freaking, it's not like organic homegrown orange juice where I'm like, oh, this is my favorite brand. Like, I'm sorry, this is America. I thought this was America. You don't have to like every freaking brand. Like, this is so communist. Oh, you have to like this brand. No, I don't. So when Trump gets on television, he's like, Johnson & Johnson, such a great company. I'm like, no, they're not. Like, I mean, they're great at making money, but they don't make stuff I like, and I don't have to like it. For instance, I ate Del Taco once and I thought it was trash. I'm not anti-taco. I just don't like Del Taco. No offense, but I thought it was trash. Taco Bell is trash, but I think Taco Bell is trash that actually tastes good. And Del Taco tastes like trash to me. I'm sorry. Maybe I had a bad batch or something, but Del Taco sucks in my opinion. Doesn't mean you have to hate Del Taco. Doesn't mean you have to eat Del Taco. Doesn't mean I have to force you to eat it. Doesn't mean I'll ban you for not liking Del Taco. That's just my opinion. This is America. Since when do I have to like Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer? I've never liked these companies, ever. Maybe, actually, you know what? I had a family member who worked for Johnson & Johnson. Now that I think about it, I went to a company party there as a kid, and I had a great time. So when I was young, I did like Johnson & Johnson because they put together a whole spectacle that I had a great time. Since I turned 18, I'm like, Johnson & Johnson, I don't give a crap. This is like, but anomaly, he didn't mandate it. I don't care. I don't like Johnson & Johnson. I don't like Pfizer. I don't like Moderna. I don't have to. I might just eventually have to pretend like I like them at a certain point. I'm like, oh yeah, if I ever come back, just know this is when you know I've been compromised, folks. If I come back and I'm like, I come back all bruised up, and I'm like, hey guys, I had a change of heart. Pfizer and Moderna and Johnson & Johnson are good American patriotic companies, folks. I really like their products, and, I'm going to spend the next 2 years promoting them for free. It's just something I feel like I have to morally do. It's like, that's how they got me. That's what Trump's doing. That's why I feel like they got him. I don't know what they did to him, but maybe they just gave him a lot of money or something, or told him he's a big boy. Like, Trump, you're going to sit in your booster seat, and you're going to be the biggest boy at Olive Garden. You're going to be a big boy at Cheesecake Factory. You're going to be the vaccine man. He's like, oh, me? Oh, I'm the vaccine man? Oh, yeah, that sounds pretty good. They're like, yeah, Trump, maybe they got to his ego. I don't know. You saved the world from the Spanish flu. Oh, yeah, I saved the world. Oh, yeah, Spanish flu. Oh, man, I killed the virus. Like, yeah, dude, you're like this era's like, you're like Watson and Crick, bro. You revolutionized science. Like, oh, yes, saved the whole world. I'm the science man. Like, maybe they did that. Maybe they paid him. Maybe he's dumb. I don't know. I don't think he's dumb, but I'm not trying. So that's people are like, but he didn't mandate it. So if I came on here and I was like, hey guys, I'm going to, every day I come live, tell people what to do with their medical life all the time. I don't tell people not to get it. And I don't tell people what to do. So I don't tell people what to eat. It's not my business. I do think high fructose corn syrup is whack, but whatever. It doesn't, just because I didn't mandate it, it doesn't mean that's okay. Like, oh yeah, like, oh, Nickelback didn't mandate the vaccine. So I don't have to like what they do though. So I don't know. People are like, but he didn't mandate. I don't care. I don't like Johnson & Johnson. I don't like Moderna, and I don't really like Pfizer, and I never did. And I don't know what to tell you. And Trump sounds like somebody who walked into a room and walked out and just sells it all the time. Someone said J&J used to be people friendly. Listen, I don't hate them. It's just I look at their list of products and I don't want them. This is the craziest part. It's like, I'm not this big hater. I never would have even told anybody I don't like Del Taco. I would have kept that to myself because I'm sure there's some people here who like Del Taco. But I had Del Taco and I was like, this is not good. Like, even as far as not good tacos go, I'd rather go to Taco Bell and eat their degenerate demon, meat that's like F grade quality or whatever. But, it's like dog food. I'm like, at least it tastes good. I'm like, man, this dog food quesadilla tastes fire. Then I have like nightmares that night. I swear to God, I try not to eat Taco Bell because I feel like I have crazy nightmares every time I eat it. It's like dog shit quality, like demon food, but it tastes good for the time. But I get too many nightmares, so I don't do it. But anyway, it's like Del Taco sucks. This is how I feel with this vaccine thing. It's like, when did you have to like everything? Like it's not even like, oh, it's mandated. Like you have to literally be like, if you got vaccinated, right? Say you got 2 vaccines. Okay. You got the Pfizer one, you got the Pfizer 2, you got the Pfizer 3. Maybe you got a Moderna. I don't know. Whatever. You mixed and matched, whatever the freak you did, whatever. You're not anti-vax. You got every vaccine when you're a kid. You're the most pro-vax person ever. If you said on your live stream and said, hey, I'm triple vaccinated, I've been vaccinated my whole life, I worked for Big Pharma for 10 years, I'm pro-vaccine, I'm just a little disappointed with this new vaccine. You know, I felt like I thought it was going to be really effective and it's not, and I'm not that impressed with it. You get banned. It's like authoritarianism. It's like you have to just sit there and be like, dude, this vaccine, man, it's like, it's the greatest thing I've ever had. Like, dude, it's better than my marriage, said Jenny, Johnson of Intercept News. I got married and this is the best day of my life. It's better than my marriage. It's better than my kid. My kid had a birthday and I forgot my kid and I had a Pfizer birthday and then I got married again. I put my wedding dress on and got injected in my wedding dress. Like, I'm semi-joking, but these are also like literal articles being dropped. Like, it's better than my marriage. I went in my marriage, bride's dress to get a vaccine. And it's like, this is freaking insane. Like, you could literally be like, dude, I've gotten every vaccine ever. It's just not as great as I thought it was going to be. It's like, oh my God, shut the hell up. What the frick is wrong with you, you anti-vaxxer? What are you watching, Horse Dewormer Rogan over there? It's like, bro, these people have lost their mind. You don't have to like it. You don't have to think it's good. I don't think it is good. I just pretend like I don't know so they don't freaking come and take all my shit. So I act like I'm like, oh, look at the data. Look at the data. But if you want to know the truth, I don't think it's that great of a product. Oh, stop the press. I'm sorry. I got to like everything they do ever. I'm a freaking lifetime supply slave of Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Oh my God, you're the greatest. I mean, I'm just going to ignore your, largest criminal fine in U.S. history paid. I mean, that never happened. Bribing doctors in foreign countries. I mean, you settled out of that. But, since then, you've just become completely ethical and no one has ever done anything wrong. These people are freaking insane. And this is the thing. Without complaining about it, people this insane are not going to stop if you cave to what they're doing. It's not going to happen. It's like, and I'm not saying the Nuremberg Code or trial has been, infringed upon, because I haven't fully read it and I haven't made my full decision on that. But what I will say is it's a pretty insane thing to do. Like, if you were to tweet and just say, hey, I think the Nuremberg Code is being, infringed upon. They literally blocked out some guy's tweet on Twitter and literally said, oh, fact check, no. And then you couldn't retweet it. And it's like, if you were an authoritarian psychopath, or if you're not, it's not a good look to censor that. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make it look like you're not doing that. It's like, you can't even say that. No. And it's like, that kind of makes it look like you're doing it. Now I side with them. Before I was on the fence. I'm like, I don't know if it's that drastic, but I don't know. They are kind of seeming like that now. That that's the worst way to pretend like you're not an authoritarian, is by blocking somebody from saying that you're violating the Nuremberg Code. You can say anything about anyone. You could say Trump shit his pants at the Trump Tower. He's secretly 100% Native American. He's black. You could say Trump is 5 years old. He pee-peed in his diaper. And Russia collusion happened and Putin gave him a pee-pee diaper. And, Donald Trump, has a bazillion dollars in the bank account. And, he's only got one leg. Like, you could just say that on Twitter and they're like, they don't care. You can lie about it. You can lie about anything all the time. Like, whatever. And if you just say hey, I think the Nuremberg Code got infringed upon, they're like, shut the fuck up. Excuse my language, but it was funnier if I said the F word. Shut the fuck up. They're like, dude, it doesn't make you not seem like you're doing it. Like, I don't even know that you are, but when you block that out, but you don't block all this other stuff out, it kind of makes it seem creepier. It's like, fact check. No, this is totally ethical. This is nothing like Nazi Germany. No, this is the total difference. There's never done anything before. We are just here to help you. This is just the greatest thing ever. This is the greatest product I've ever seen in my life. I mean, 10 out of 10, Siskel and Ebert gave it 3 thumbs up. This product's so good. Siskel and Ebert only had 4 thumbs up because 2 thumbs each, and they superimposed an arm from Wuhan, China, and they put it on their arm. So now they have an extra thumb, and they gave it 6 thumbs up. This is the first pharmacy product ever gave 6 thumbs up. We've only had 4 thumbs up. They never had extra thumbs. They literally went to get thumbs, and they're sitting there like bleeding dead with the thing. They did this under their own free will. They wanted to, it's got a freaking like vaccine through his neck coming out the other side. And like, dude, they did this under their own free will. They just freaking, what? 6 thumbs up? Oh my God, we got to publish this in the New York Times. And like everyone else is sitting there like, this is going to unite the vaccinated and unvaccinated. It's going to unite. Everyone's going to be sitting there and just being like, holy shit, these people are fucking crazy. Like, that's like, this is so, it's almost funny. Like, that's why I don't get that upset. I'm like, I'm done. I'm done being outraged about it. Like, I'm talking about like a year ago. I want to say from like March 2020 through like May 2020, I was like pretty upset. I was like, damn, they're like taking over our whole country and this is not going to end. Once June, at the same time though, I was sitting there playing video games with my best friend. I had a good lockdown. It wasn't ideal for the country, but listen, I'll take a few weeks off, some video games, a little bit of communism, universal basic income. It's not my thing, but like, I'm not gonna listen. I'm gonna get my paycheck, blow it on some stupid. But anyway, after May, I just kind of already figured out everything. So I'm not trying to act like I'm so special, but it's like I saw this all coming. I had conversations with people last year. This is not going away. Oh no, it'll go away. It's gonna go away in June. Whatever. Okay. I've been done being outright. Like, I mean, I get annoyed sometimes, but do I look as mad as everyone else all the time? I don't think I've been that upset at this particular topic in 2 years, a year and a half, because I saw this coming a year and a half ago. I don't know. What am I going to do? I did everything I could possibly do, or said everything I could possibly say. I can't do it. So I'm not going to be mad at it all the time. I just laugh at it because it's actually kind of funny. Like, coming from a disgusting, unvaccinated person like myself, completely, no, I'm just kidding. But in general, coming from somebody that did not partake in the COVID, I like to tell myself I'm part of the placebo group, to make myself feel scientific. But in general, coming from my point of view, I'm not this type of person that is like vengeful or anything. So I don't wish it on anybody. But I do think it's kind of funny that they did booster shots so quickly. Like, I don't know. Because like I don't want to, someone that lives near me, I just remember having a conversation. Listen, most of my neighbors are amazing. They're all great. But anyway, someone had said to me, like, me and another neighbor that didn't get the shot, we were talking about like masks or whatever. And then like she had said, oh, I'm taking my mask off because I got vaccinated. And everybody who didn't get it's got to keep their mask on. That's the way we're living. Or she made a comment, she walked away, and like me and my neighbor looked at each other and we were like, what? So like these people were getting so pompous. I call them vaccine supremacists. They were being supremacists. Like, I'm better than you. I can't wait to be a first-class citizen. I can't wait to see you suffer. And I was like laughing then too. I was like, whoa, what's in her coffee? No, but anyway. And then literally like 2 weeks later, they're like, oh, masks back on. I thought I'm not going to say elated because I don't like to cheer when other people are miserable, but I'm not going to lie. I laughed my ass off when I saw the headline. You didn't see me. Oh my God. Dude, they treated me like that the whole time. So now that they're treating you like that, I enjoyed it quite thoroughly, to be honest. Can you believe this? And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, hey man, it sucks. Welcome to the club. They've been treating me like shit all year. Like, now they're treating you like shit. Welcome to the party. So I'm not even having a bad time. It's just like someone said vaccine supremacists, haha. That's what they are. Not everybody. I know people who got vaccinated who are not vaccine supremacists, but there are some people who literally think they're better than you. One of my favorite neighbors, he's vaccinated. I'm not. It's not even a thing, like, it doesn't even really come up. And if it does, it's like, no, I hear you, and we're good. He's not a vaccine supremacist. I'm not an anti-vaccine conspiracy supremacist. But there are vaccine supremacists who are like, I'm better than you. I deserve this. I don't have to wear a mask. I was so thrilled to just watch them have to put the mask back on. I just thought it was funny. And now with all this stuff, it is kind of funny. Like it's messed up, but it is kind of funny now that like they're like taking everything away from people who did what they told them to do. Not trying to be mean, but listen, I love cruises, and they said if you're not vaccinated, you can't get on Royal Caribbean. And I was like, listen, you just lost a primetime casino member. You know, I've been on 3 cruises a year. I was getting free cruises out the wazoo. I'm done. And then like a month later, they had all these breakouts of vaccinated people on the cruise. And I'm reading the headline. I'm just like, man, that sucks. You know, that sucks. Who would have thought vaccinated people could catch the virus too, besides everyone who paid attention, but whatever. So then they put masks back on for everybody on the cruise. So now on cruises, everybody has to get tested before the cruise, not just vaccinated people or unvaccinated people. And now everybody has to wear masks. I'm pissed because I want to go on the cruise, but I also think it's pretty funny because everybody thought that they were going to be in the clear. Like, yeah, I'm such a better person than you. I'm going to go live my life. It's like, no, you're not, dummy. And I'm not calling you dummy because you got it. I'm just calling you dummy because you thought you were going to get all the special goodies. Like, oh, I'm a good boy and they're going to give me everything now. It's like, no, I said that to people 8 months ago. I never told people whether to get the vaccine or not. I don't think I've said that once because I don't know that I would say I don't care, but I don't know you. I don't know what your thing is. It's up to you, really. But this idea that you're going to get it and get everything, like literally no, that I could tell you no. But if you feel good with it, whatever. If it makes you feel better or feel more comfortable or you want what they say are the benefits, that's whatever. But if you think you're going to take it and then you're going to be, no, it's clearly not happening. 2 years into it, clearly not. I was right. I was thinking about buying, I don't want to say it because then someone will buy the domain, whatever. All right. One more question. And then we'll head out of here. Thank you guys. 3-hour live stream. Didn't mean to, but had a blast. That was fun. I'm looking forward to getting my live streams taken away again. That was a fun month. Maybe that'll happen again soon. Someone said, bro, don't go. I got to go. How do I feel about vaccine passports? No, I don't agree at all from every angle, but I'll say this because I don't agree with them at all, ever. But it's laughable how little sense it makes when on every study ever done ever on the planet to this point, it's pretty obvious that vaccinated people can get and spread the virus. So how the hell would a passport make any sense under even playing along with them? How would it ever? It doesn't make any sense. Vermont, Singapore, all these, 70, 80+% vaccinated places are experiencing record highs. What the hell? I don't know. Like, I don't watch television. I don't watch Fox News. I don't watch CNN. I don't know where people are getting their ideas from that, like Pete Davidson or something. He's like, horse dewormer. And they're like, horse dewormer. And you're like, what? I had one person say that to me, like someone from my high school. I was trying to be nice. I gave a thumbs up on their post. I thought I was being nice. They have a husband. I just was like, cool family, whatever. I haven't seen in a while. Shouldn't have done that. Because then they messaged me this crazy mean thing. I was like, what the hell? I just thought it was nice you have a family now. I haven't seen your post in a while. And they're like 3 paragraphs of how bad I was. And I was like, what? But like one of the things was like horse dewormer. And I was like, oh, okay, they're brainwashed. Like horse dewormer, like what? They're like, horse dewormer, you're a horse dewormer guy. And I'm like, I've never talked about horse dewormer. People don't realize this, but when everybody was talking about ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, I never talked about those. Why? I'm not a pharmacy salesman. I don't care if it costs $2 a pill or $2,000 a pill. I'm not selling you hydroxychloroquine and I'm not selling ivermectin. You could talk to your doctor that you trust and figure out what medication works for you. But I don't take that shit, and I'm not saying like people do take horse dewormer, ivermectin, for refugee use, deworming, or like parasites. It has use in humans. They lie about that, but whatever. But my point is just like, I don't take all this stuff, and I'm not a doc. I'm not telling you not like. I've never talked about these drugs, and it wasn't to save my platform. Oh, he doesn't want to talk. You had how many? And I'm not trying to be mean, but how many Republicans did you have selling hydroxychloroquine just because Trump was? And I'm not saying that whatever. I'm just saying like so many people didn't even know anything about it, but they're just doing it just to do the other side. And I get that it's a cheap drug, and I'm sure Big Pharma didn't want that to work. But anyway, it's like I met some guy and he was like, I'm taking hydroxychloroquine every day just in case. And I'm like, what? Like, why? I don't know. Like, I thought that was weird as hell. Like, I don't like taking pills unless I really have to. So people that like Trump were like, I'm going to take hydroxychloroquine every day of my life, even though I don't have it. And I'm like, whoa, you're really sticking it to Big Pharma, like taking hydroxychloroquine every day as a healthy person. Like, I don't take pills. Like, I wouldn't take a pill when I was healthy just to travel. Like, I went to Sturgis, like, and I didn't take anything. I was fine. Like, I don't know. I just thought it was funny where it's like, if I got sick, I would have a conversation with my doctor about certain drugs, but I don't know. Until I know more about it, I'm not like selling these products. Someone said it's a prophylactic. I don't know. Call me crazy, but I'm not taking a freaking pill every day to prevent myself from getting COVID-19. It's not happening. I still think I'm one of the few people who's never gotten it, never taken hydroxychloroquine, never taken ivermectin, never gotten any of these. I'm not taking the Merck or Pfizer pill. Seems to be fine so far. And if it's not, I'll figure it out on the way there. But do I take vitamins daily? I probably should, but not really. No, I don't know. I drink water and coffee. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the healthiest person on the planet, but I'm not the least healthy. I'm probably in the upper echelon of healthy people, and that's not because I'm so great. It's just because most people are not taking care of themselves at all. But I don't know. I have vitamins. I'll take certain ones sometimes. The trace minerals I've taken at certain points, but hopefully I get the vitamins in my food. If not, I seem like I have good energy. If I pass out, I'll let you know. Someone said take iodine, vitamin D, zinc. Can I eat that in food though? Everyone says that. Can I just eat food with vitamin D and zinc in it? Isn't that in food and fish and stuff? Someone said if you eat healthy, you don't need supplements. No, I know supplements are definitely good. I haven't found ones I like. I had one good one, but I ate it and I'm not going to say never, but I don't really feel sick, like very rarely, pretty much never. And I took one of these things. People told me to take zinc, vitamin D, whatever. I had a whole pill. It's the good brand. You know what I'm saying? Not the shitty brand. And I felt sicker than I felt all year. That's why I stopped taking pills, to be honest, or whatever, or like supplements. They said, oh, don't take it on an empty stomach. I'm like, dude, I'm good. Like I don't feel sick ever. And then I take this freaking supplement and I feel like shit. I seriously felt like I was like, what the hell is this? What type of zinc is this? It sounds like some horse dewormer zinc or something. I'm just kidding. But I don't know. That's why I don't take any pills or supplements, because I did the one time and it like screwed me up harder than not taking them. Maybe that's a sign that it's working. I don't know. Gummy vitamins? I don't know. Don't listen to me. Someone said you could live off bee pollen. I eat full bees. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking about that. I eat honey. I have honey with honeycomb. Like I got a lot of good stuff in my house. I got vitamins in food form. But I don't know. The vitamin I took was not cool. Someone said, I feel like a lot of truthers push meds as hard as the other side. Well, yeah, some people sell them. They sell supplements. I mean, that's good if they're good supplements. I have nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I don't know. I think certain people, I don't know about like what meds, but that's what I'm saying with the whole like vaccine, hydroxy. Like some people were like, dude, I'm pushing hydroxy. I'm like, I get what's going on, but I don't know. I'm just like, I'm not a big pharmacy guy. If you know, if Trump wants to take that, that's fine. If you want to take that, I think you should be allowed to, as long as it's safe, you know. Um, but I'm not going to push it on my platform because I don't know shit about it. I don't, that's just the type of person I am too, where it's like some people did know a lot about hydroxychloroquine, like they studied it and they talked about it. A lot of people just did what everyone else did, you know? So like, I'm not a follower, but also if I'm going to talk about a drug, I'm going to fully understand it. But I don't really talk about drugs because I don't want to be responsible for somebody taking some shit. Like, talk to your doctor. Seriously, like, talk to a doctor. If you don't like your doctor, find another doctor. But if I'm going to tell you what freaking pills to take or something, I'm going to study my ass off for years so I'm qualified to do that. You know, that's, I don't do it like to protect myself but like, how the hell, just because I'm conservative, I'm going to sell a pill that I don't even know anything about just because Trump said it. And I know that Bill Gates doesn't want it to work or something. Like, I get the dynamic of like politically, like any pill that is cheap to make is a threat to big pharma. Like Aaron Rodgers said, you know, why would they want a pill that's like $3 to make? That screws up their whole operation. Duh. But I'm personally not going to sell it. Not because I'm afraid to. I don't know. I don't know much about it. I've never taken it. How am I going to sell a pill that I've never taken? I don't know. I wouldn't do that. Someone said I follow Dr. Berg on YouTube. There's a lot of doctors and I respect them. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, as far as like holistic doctors and stuff, there's a lot of them saying a lot of things, right? A lot of contradicting things, but that's their lane. You know, they're doctors. Like, I'm not, I play sports. I take care of myself. I try to eat decent. But as far as my vast knowledge of the human body and, you know, full blown medical degree, like, it doesn't exist. So I'm self-aware. But that's what I'm saying. Like, certain, like Dr. Simone Gold and other doctors, like they're literally doctors, you know. they want to talk about these drugs a lot more because they know about them, or, you know, they have experience. Some of these people are frontline doctors. I'm not knocking. I'm just saying that's definitely not me. Someone said, smart guy, it isn't your job to advise people on their health. Absolutely not. No, it isn't. I say little things that help me just as tips. I don't care what people do, but my only health suggestion to people as a non-doctor is drink and eat things that you like, but try to find a better version of it. Like, I say, like, simple things like, you know, there's tomato sauce with high fructose corn syrup. Try to find one without it. You know, there's really good sodas that don't have high fructose corn syrup and they have like natural sugars. And then there's some that have natural ingredients. There's juices like Izzy. I don't know how healthy it is, but I would assume it's made from all natural juices and stuff. I would assume it's better than a Coca-Cola. That's the type of stuff I do. I don't sacrifice, you know, my entire like joy of eating. And there's people that do and are way healthier. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying some people think in order to be healthier, you have to just cut everything out. Not necessarily true. Just try to find better ingredients, you know, learn about the ingredients and find better ones. That's my only slight advice that nobody held for, but that's what I do at least. And, you know, as far as someone said clemency for Larry, pity out the slow. Listen, Larry's cool, man. I'm sure Larry was a great guy, but it's like, dude, you can't come into a two-hour live stream and start demanding that I start from the beginning. And then he said, what's the topic? Get to the topic. And I told him, this is the topic now. I want to talk about this. And then he says it a second time. He got a warning. I didn't just block him. I told him, this is what I'm talking about right now. I read things. I could sit here and block you guys out and say, I'm doing my show by myself. That's not what the live streams are about. It's an interactive process a lot of times. Sometimes I'm in my zone, but I've done hundreds of live streams. I talk about my topic and then I leave, or I talk about my topic and then I answer questions and we go on different topics. I've done it every single time. So if he comes into a late live stream and says, what are we talking about? And I tell him what we're talking about. And then he says, no, talk about this now. Block, no clemency, Guantanamo Bay, banned for life. Sorry. But he needs a second chance. Lifetime ban. Learn from Larry's mistake. I talked to my buddy who's a rapper as well, and he was asking me about Telegram. And he said, yo, how do you do this with the comments on Telegram? And I said, bro, I don't know. I don't enable comments on Telegram. I have like 70,000 followers around there on Telegram, and I don't have any comments. And he was like, oh, he's like, that's communist. And I said, no, it's not communist. I said, dude, 100% of the people agree with me. I've never heard otherwise. And I was just joking around because there's no comments. And he's like, oh man, that's you a politician. And I was like, no, I'm just kidding. But one of my favorite parts of Telegram is that there's no comments. It's not because I don't want to hear back, but I got too many Facebook messages, too many Instagram messages. If I sat and read every comment, I got 3.5 million views on TikTok in 24 hours. I'm blowing up on TikTok now. I'm not bragging, but the boys got moves. No, I'm just kidding. I don't dance like that. But anyway, I don't have time to read all this stuff. I don't. The reason I don't look like a cheesy poof is because I play sports and I go out in nature, and that's why I have the energy to be here, because I'm in the sun. I'm doing stuff. I can't sit on my computer 24 hours. So I was just saying with Telegram, that's my favorite part of Telegram. I can hit everybody with a direct message. I'm going live right now. 10,000 people get it. And I don't got to read all these comments because I already got too many comments. It's not communist. It's just comment on Facebook, comment on Instagram, comment on Twitter, comment on YouTube. It's not on Telegram. I like that about Telegram. Someone said, you're so darn popular. Who cares? I don't know. I'm not sure who cares. Some people, probably, I would say a majority of planet Earth doesn't give a shit about me. But the point I was making was not, I'm so popular, man. I'm so cool. Look at me. I'm a star. It was, I'm a human. I don't have time to read every message, and it's not smart to read every message. And so that's what I like about Telegram. I shared a Jim Brewer story. Make sure you check out Jim Brewer's Facebook. One of his last posts was genius. It was a genius 2 minutes, like little skit about the Kyle Rittenhouse and Aaron Rodgers thing. It was so good. Anyway, I shared it on Twitter. Got like 200, 300,000 views. I shared it on TikTok. I shared it on Instagram, and he messaged me and said, thank you or whatever. And I told him, I sent him the Twitter thing, and I said, hey, I blew it up on Twitter too, because I thought it was great. My dad sent it to me, but also I said it's going crazy on Twitter. And he's like, what are people saying? He's like, I don't read any messages. So I was like, dude, everybody likes it. I said, but there's probably somebody with 6 followers that doesn't like it. I like laughed at that or whatever. But Jim is a pretty popular guy. He doesn't read any comments ever, which is super smart. And he probably enjoys his life because he doesn't sit on the computer and read comments. But same with Joe Rogan. He doesn't read any comments. I don't read no comments, but you get what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm so popular. I'm just saying some people don't read any comments. I don't read most of them. I can't answer every message. I don't have time. It's also not mentally healthy to do that. That's why I was talking about it. Harsh crowd. Someone said, bro, you ban him forever. Oh my gosh, bro. Bro, you ban him forever. Isn't that what we were fighting against censorship? Give him a break. Let him back tomorrow. Maybe he's having a bad day. Tomorrow he could be a #1 contributor. You guys really want me to unblock this guy this bad? I don't know what to tell you. I blocked him on Facebook. I have a YouTube. I have an Instagram. He could go everywhere else. Twitter. Some people do this to me on Twitter too. They're hella annoying, and I block them. And then they hit me up on Instagram, and then they start getting extra annoying, and then I block them on Instagram. It's like, I don't care what you do, bro. Just stop being annoying. People, I'm like, who's and I block, and then they come on Instagram and they're like, and I'm like, dude, what? Okay. Can you unblock me? No, dude. I'm a bit okay. Just read it. Then just watch it on here. Now you're blocked again. I'm sorry. The more you say it, it just makes me want to block you now. You're feeding in. It's like a good smoothie. Like I'm like, you're like, oh, stop. I'm like, no, I'm gonna have more. I'm gonna have thirds. I want more. So just get over it. Someone said, what would Jesus do? Honestly, I don't know this for sure, but I would hope that Jesus didn't care this much about social media. I would guess he had bigger fish to fry, and he would probably understand. I'm going to be honest. One of my favorite rappers blocked me on Twitter when I was like 23. I'm friends with mutual friends of his now. I could probably talk to him. Guess what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to ask him to unblock me on Twitter because it doesn't matter. I would never go to him. Can you unblock me on Twitter from when I was 20? No, I said some stupid shit when I was 22 and he rightfully blocked me. And now I'm blocked on Twitter. And now I could listen to his music on Spotify and Apple Music and Facebook and Instagram, but I'm blocked on Twitter. Okay? I'm not going to cry about it forever. I just go to other platforms. I deserve the block and he deserved the block. Someone said both comments were two different Larrys. Well, now that changes. That changes. Now you guys are starting to convince me. So there were two different Larrys, both complaining about the same thing, and I blocked the second Larry. Is that fair? I guess that's not fair. I guess you guys might be, you got that might have been the one comment that got to me. But listen, maybe that was the universe telling me, are you telling me I should block the other Larry now? Who was the other one? I'll block him too. Then it'll be equality. That's liberal equality. Two Larrys blocked for the same crime. It's just like, just come on. Trust me, I appreciate everybody who listens. I really do. I appreciate people who agree and who disagree, but I don't like when people tell me what to do. Here's the thing: when I block people with this stuff too, because this kind of annoys me, and I do it to be petty. Someone said, "How would we know if you blocked us?" Well, you wouldn't have been able to comment, so I didn't block you. God bless you. But anyway, when I drop a song, right? Because you guys got to understand, I do news analysis and I do hip hop music, but I'm self aware. I understand a majority of people like the news analysis. I'm not stupid. I'm not one of these people that's like, check out my new mixtape, dog. I understand they're different worlds. Do I suck at hip hop? No, I think I'm great. But in general, I play shows. And when I go to Sturgis, people want to hear me rap because it's a music show and everybody cheers. And nobody wants to hear me talk about news analysis because it's a music show. But here, it's really like a news show. So when I drop my music, it's like dropping music on Tucker Carlson. People are like, what the fuck are you doing? Shut the fuck. Like, I understand people don't want to hear it. It's not like I think you want to hear, all want to hear my music. I get they're two worlds that I just happen to do both. And I understand most people don't want to hear it. But here's when I block people. I don't block people who say, I don't like it or whatever. I block people who say, try to tell me what to do. You shouldn't do that. Anomaly, I stick to news analysis. Blocked. Why? Because you can't tell me what to do. If you say your music's trash, I'm not going to block you. I don't care what you think. You just don't do that. No, I'm not your slave. Blocked. You should stick to news analysis. Well, you're blocked because you don't even know my life story. Because if I never rapped, I wouldn't be here. You don't know what doors this opened up for me, what opportunities this opened up for me, how I even got here in the first place. So you can't really tell me what to do. Because if I wasn't rapping, I would have never got to Los Angeles. I would have never had these opportunities. And in general now, I do a lot of things, so I don't push it that hard because I don't really care. I don't need to be, I don't want to win a Grammy. I want to be left the fuck alone. So I don't really care what people think of my rap. I played the biggest show of 2020. I played Sturgis in front of like 50,000 people, and everybody revved their engines for me. I got the biggest applause of the entire night. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying I played the biggest. You could say what you want. Anomaly, you fucking suck. But dude, there were no shows in 2020. By default, the only huge show was Sturgis. I played that and got one of the loudest cheers of the night. So I don't care what you think. But in general, you don't have to like it. I don't expect everybody to like the music. But if you tell me to not do it or to shut up or to do what you want me to do, that's when you get blocked. I don't care if you agree with me. That's why I blocked him. It's not because he disagreed with me. He's trying to tell me what to do on my own live stream and demand that I run it back 2 hours because his ass got here. Blocked, unapologetic block on everything. I don't care. I don't care who likes my music, but you should shut up and stick to news analysis. Now you get blocked because, oh, shut up, donkey. Play your news analysis. Like, okay, now you don't get that either. Now you lose access to that because you're chirping too much. So unapologetic blocks. Okay. Someone said, "Gotta go. The language here stinks." See ya. Apologize. No more soup for you, Larry. That's what someone exactly. No more soup for you. The the soup Nazi. It's that episode. Owen Benjamin did like a breakdown of that episode. It's one of the funniest things ever. But he's kind of explaining how it's kind of a similar thing where the soup guy was literally just like, hey, follow these orders and you get your soup. And the people in Seinfeld wouldn't stop follow the orders. So it's like they called him a Nazi, but it's like, yeah, he's a little crazy, but he also makes really good soup. Sometimes like the crazy, I've been to New York City, like it's the crazy deli owner who makes the best shit. Owen kind of puts a spin on that, and he's like, the real problem in this episode was the Seinfeld cast who won't follow simple directions. Stand here and talk here. They refuse to follow directions, so they got banned from the soup store. It's very similar. It's like, you could blame me. You can call me whatever you want. You can call me a communist. No, he's a communist. He doesn't believe in it's fine. You couldn't follow simple directions, and he got banned. It's fine. I'll take the heat. It's funny though. People are like, you don't have to talk about it. Trust me, it's been 3 hours. I could have left 2 hours ago. I just think it's funny. I don't look at this and get really mad at Frank. I'm just like, block, I don't know. I'm sorry. I think it's funny. Larry got deported. Exactly. He just got deported. Freelarry.com. I thought you guys were talking about Larry Hoover for a second, because everybody's always trying to free him. Listen, Larry's a good man. It's just, there's certain, you get what I'm saying? There's certain things that happen in life, and you just go a different way. Someone said George wanted his bread. Yeah, but at a certain point, it's like, bro, you just got to keep it moving. George Costanza should have just fought, he should have just kept going. And then Elaine started chirping, same thing. It's like, you could blame the soup guy, but really Elaine shouldn't have been chirping so much, She's like, and it's like, Elaine, you can make every excuse under the book, but you should have just listened, and got your soup and got out of there. You got to make a scene. Someone said, I love 2-day-old Taco Bell microwaved in the wrapper. Like, that's another comment that could possibly get you banned. I don't think I'm going to ban you, but I'm considering it. I love 2-day-old Taco Bell microwaved in the wrapper. I mean, that's disgusting. You're so close to getting banned. Like, yeah, that's your opinion, but at a certain point, I do start to see where Dr. Fauci is coming from. It would be best for everybody's public health to ban you. I'm just kidding. All right, let's end on a good note. I have fun. They're trying to update it was like new cloud conditions. I'm like, oh, great. Someone said, thanks for getting to the point and not dragging a 30-minute video into an hour. I have a lot to learn. I don't know if you're being sarcastic, because I've been here for 3 hours and 21 minutes. So this idea that I didn't drag this out for an hour doesn't seem real, because I think we're here for 3.5 hours, which is insane. All right. Appreciate y'all. God bless you. God bless America. God bless your family. God bless the world. 3.5 hours. No supplements, no vitamin D. I get it naturally, my zinc. So appreciate y'all. Once again, for people who are still here, you could pass on the word to anybody who knows. So the pre-sale, we finally got the long sleeves, the God bless long sleeve, or I'm sorry, the God is great long sleeves, the stay blessed long sleeves, and the God is great sweatshirts. According to my guy, I haven't seen him yet, but he said they came out flawlessly, which is awesome to hear, because if not, they got to. But anyway, he's going to start mailing them tomorrow. So I guess a lot of them came in today. He's going to start mailing them if he hasn't already, and you should start to see your tracking numbers soon. The Dream Rare hoodie, that one's taking longer because it's actually more expensive. I don't know if we charge more for it, but it definitely costs me more. The Anomaly is actually getting embroidered on the sleeve. It's not just like printed, it's embroidered. So that's going to be like I'm going to say that's going to be like a limited edition. Like, we're probably not going to do it that much. It was super crazy expensive because it's all made in the USA and it's not cheap. But anyway, that's going to ship out the following week. Everything else should be good to go. And once I get this stuff in, it'll never take long again. Even for me, I know people got the pre-sale and stuff. I don't want to make it take this long. So probably next time I won't do a pre-sale and I'll just get the stuff beforehand and then do it because I don't like to make you guys wait. But we're going to give everyone a free sticker. The beanies, we'll figure it out. I can't find the ones that I want, so they might be sold out. And it's all good. I mean, it makes it that much more special if you got a beanie. And the sweatshirts are like this. I bought a decent amount of each, but once the long sleeves and the sweatshirts sell out, I'm almost definitely not going to get more. I'm going to do some seasonal stuff. So that's what it is. Telegram, t.me/dreamer chat. Eternal Soul with the super chat right before I'm going to leave. Okay. I'm a sucker for it. Do I think Mary Jane should be legalized across the entire country of the U.S.? Curious on your take. I mean, as somebody that I will not lie, I have inhaled both recently and historically. I would say if a state wants to do it, sure. I don't know that nationally that should be a whole thing. I think if a state wants to do it, they should be able to. If a state doesn't want to do it, I think they shouldn't be able to. But I don't know that I'm a fan of making the whole country do that. So I think if Idaho and Texas and stuff, they don't want to do it, that's fine. I have mixed feelings about it. On one hand, I think it can be healthier than alcohol. On another hand, I think it can be bad for your throat. I think it can be bad for your anxiety. I think it can be mind altering and opening for certain people and creativity, certain realms, but I think it can also be a downward spiral for some people. It depends how much you inhale and what type of mindset you have. So same people are saying mushrooms, acid. That's kind of my opinion. I don't think there should be a national, like everywhere, let's all do mushrooms and smoke weed all the time. I'm not feeling that, but it is kind of crazy how it's all illegal. So I don't know. It's a tough question. I think I don't want the state to start owning everything too. And it's like now they own every mushroom or every weed and it's all chemicalized and like taxes. That sounds nightmarish to me too. So I don't know really the right decision, but I think like decriminalize should probably be a play. But as far as like every state, probably not. I think we should let some states do it and some states not do it and see the results and study the long-term trials or whatever. I would say no to the nationally, yes to the state-wise, and I would like to see some people properly handle all that stuff because, I don't think it's a good idea to do anything all the time, but, alcohol is legal. I don't know how great it is, and I think there are benefits to like certain hallucinogens if you've done in a moderation or temporarily. But also some people, they never do anything. And that's the best play for a lot of people is to do nothing and stay sober and, stay in the right mind. But, as far as nationally, I'll say no. But state-wise, if the people there want that, then, someone said is meth illegal? I don't think so. But I would say probably shouldn't be. But yeah, I don't know. The problem before I go real quick is sometimes when they legalize something, they take control of it and then they like screw it up and tax it and make it all weird. But someone said brownies, dude, the edibles are too strong, man. I don't like those. Like to me, the edibles, it's like way too much. But I guess there's some people who eat 100 milligrams and they like just sit there. I don't know. The edibles is no dice for me. But some people are into that stuff. I guess my thought is like, I don't want to micromanage what people do, especially with stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know that it should be nationally legalized, but I'm not sure. Luckily, I'm not in any position of power to make these decisions because I don't know that I have the answer for that right now. Appreciate y'all. Have a good day. God bless you. I'm out. Thanks for hanging out.